Hello,
Forgot to open
everybody.
notes.
Hello, Jake. You look far better than you did 36 hours ago or whenever it was that I saw you. You look way the hell better. How you feeling?
Haircut will do that.
Oh, is that what it is? You got a haircut?
Yeah.
Did you not tell?
You still feel
I
like
looked
trash?
at him instantly. I was like, Jake got a fresh trim.
No, on Monday night, the poor guy was an absolute garbage human. He felt like shit. So, I mean, to be fair, he's always, but no, are you feeling better at all? Or
You remember
I'm
that
alright,
time?
yeah.
Just like, you remember that time when Jake just like got a bunch of people to surrender and lie down and then axed them all in the back of the neck?
I remember
That was
that.
an iconic moment, that one.
It was an iconic moment. I can
That
still
was
hear
the,
Norway screaming on the like staggering like Yoda when all the Jedi die. He's like, there's been a disturbance. Like,
That's awesome.
I think
That was the capture of Lady
Regicide's
Greyrith.
worn him down now.
What were you saying, Jake?
So that was the capture of Lady Greyrith.
Oh, it was the
Yeah.
capture of Lady Greer's. But Neil is a rude mofo and spoke over you when you were trying to answer.
yeah, I apologize.
How are you feeling today, sir?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Yeah, a little bit
Okay.
better.
Yeah.
Okay, or at least on the
Should be
decline.
better by the end of the week. So.
Yeah, there you go. It's one of those things where whenever you get sick and you feel you're like, you just want to hit that plateau. That like just stay feeling like this kind of shit for a day or two and then start getting better, So,
Yeah.
Scott,
yes, sir.
I now have permission to see Kingmaker, but I can't type in it.
I'm gonna leave that.
No, not that,
Yes.
not that we're gonna need the Kingmaker casting room or anything, guys. Like, don't even worry about it.
I feel like that's very appropriate considering,
Wow. Hope you enjoy the character description that you get.
Why is he gonna have a giant big pink mustache?
No,
That's just Viggo.
just Rayron.
All right, so I'll fix it a little bit for you, Neil. In the meanwhile,
Well,
Jake, do you take vitamins on the daily?
No.
See, I
no,
was
because
never,
he's not weak like you.
I was never a believer in vitamins. I was always like, you're just paying money to be expensive. But then when COVID hit, we like back in February or March of 2020, Britt and I started taking vitamins and have Rory take them too. I won't lie, I'm the worst in the house about them. They take them way more consistently than me, but I noticed a change. Like I feel like it makes me a better human. Don't you guys notice that I'm a better human?
Fun fact, the Scott's gonna hate this that I say this on his channel. The new COVID pill.
Wait, what?
There's a pill for treatment of COVID.
Oh.
Apparently, like
Is it hydroxychloroquine?
apparently it's no. I can't remember the name.
No,
apparently it's
for when you
apparently-
have COVID.
yeah. It's a treatment for when you have COVID, the early stage, like an antiviral. Apparently, how it works, it's pharmacodynamics is apparently really, really similar to ivermectin, just worse. Like, there's a doctor on YouTube. He's talking about this new medication, and someone like fact checks him and is like, "Isn't that just like ivermectin?" And like you can see like. Fair play to him. He re-looks it and he's like, yes. I'll find you the link at some point.
That is
Scott,
hilarious.
It is. So you were talking about how like having trouble taking vitamins every day.
Oh, see,
I have one of those that I so I can keep track of things.
no, see, the problem is the ADHD makes it so I'll totally forget to do it. And by having the grandpa pill bottle just means that my wife can hold me accountable. And that's
See, I literally have this right here under my monitor. It's the only way I will remember.
I'm not in my, I'm not
I
in my
got one
office
of
every
them.
day.
filled
Yep.
it all up, and never opened.
And just ignored it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
That's exactly why it's
It's
under
still
my
in my
monitor.
cupboard.
No. I'd have to leave it somewhere where I always am. So like put it right in front of the toilet on the bathroom. And I was sitting there and be like, oh, I should probably take these. Should probably wash my hands first. But then I'll forget and not take them. And then it's just awkward. Oh. Anyways, Neil, definitely send that link over because that's
Yeah, I'll find it for you. And
hilarious.
I like my friend told me, and I was like, no, no, surely
No,
not.
yes.
Interesting. It's so interesting.
Viking, you see, the problem with your suggestion, and I do appreciate it, thank you, is that I'm blessed with one of the greatest wives to have ever lived, and so I very rarely make coffee because she'll either already have gone out and gotten it for me, or has already made it for me.
Or he microwaves the one from the day before.
So this one is from yesterday.
You've done it so many times. I thought that was going to be the case.
November 16th, 7:41 and 29 seconds a.m.
It hurts.
But I don't think there's
So it's less than 24 hours old. Call it a win. Call it a win. All right.
So just you know how the people voted for Rayrin.
No.
Do I get
I don't think any of us know what you're talking about.
do I get Phaedril in there? Like, can he photobomb? You know, like
Funny,
Scott's
I'm
like
pretty sure
Scott's
he's
like
on the list.
no. Do you realize
No.
how much art costs?
I think Phaedril's actually on the list of characters in Kingmaker to get one.
As he should.
Spoiler alert. I'm getting art for Phaedril as well.
Scott, you got too much.
It's in the announcements, so
Well, rather shortly.
my bad
yeah.
if I spoiled something. I thought everyone could see that.
No. That's
What's
in
in
you
the
guys' secret
announcement?
chat in the Aurorum Lounge. No, not lounge. Yeah, Aurorum Lounge. That's just for you guys.
My
I've
bad.
never seen this.
I
Yeah.
won't say anything more.
No, you're good. But unfortunately, well, not fortunately. Well, unfortunately for Norway, but fortunately for everybody else. What was I saying? I'm sorry. Phaedril is so integral to that campaign. He's too important. You know what I mean? So he is definitely. I would love to eventually get all the advisors done, but that's something that probably won't happen until like 2020.
I mean,
That's
it's
a
also
whole
lot.
other.
it's
There's
also
a
hundreds of dollars. Yeah, like
yeah, that's a lot more art. So
arguably, depending on the artist, thousands. Like
I have a really good deal with the artist. I have a really good deal with the artist. So I'm perfectly fine with it. But
when
it's
they're
just-
when like the first batch of art is done, I presume we'll find out who the artist is so we can shield them viciously.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, it's one of those things where anybody who wants to have their own art done inside the campaign, I would suggest using them just to stick to the same art style. Everybody except for Norway. Norway wants his characters to look vicious. So, he wants them to look
I actually
cool and-
if I could be bothered, I'd I'd be like, here's
And
an
I'll tell you
image
the
of
artist, by the
Norway.
way. Yeah.
Here's an image of Norway's character, and then I'd hold it up, and it'd be a piece of paper, and one side would be black, and the other side would be white, split perfectly straight line down the middle.
You could have a single drop of blood rolling down the middle.
Like a broken finger holding at the top.
All right.
Oh,
Enough.
but imps are kind of cute, aren't they, Norway? Do you not think? A little bit cute. You're like, come here, you pick it up, and then it jabs you with its little poison tail, and you're like, oh, you.
I don't think min pins are cute. I think imps are several steps past a min pin. So
They're like so uncute that they become cute again, like pugs.
no, pugs are so ugly they just need to be stomped on. Like they are ugly.
No.
You can't. Yeah, but it's
So
not their
ugly.
fault. It's not their fault.
I
Scott.
agree. The humans that breed them need to be stomped on too. Like we just end the cycle.
I mean, I
And
agree
cycle.
with them not.
That is not how you end the cycle, because then the pug breeders will come and stomp on you, and then it's an an actual
Yeah,
endless cycle of violence with the pug in the middle.
Well, it's like
Viking. I agree.
it's like the English bulldogs. You know what I mean? Like that breed should not exist. The fact that they have to be born cesarean is bad. That's really bad.
I saw on TikTok someone that does like videos on dog grooming and people bring in dogs. Someone brought in a half pug, half German Shepherd. I'll see if I can find the video later.
I'm going to assume that little guy was like, I'm a mount. Give me a ladder. I'm getting this one. You know, like, that's what it's going to be. It's like Josh when he's dating, you know? So,
I was literally about to make that joke about Scar.
No.
It was interesting because like it obviously had much better airflow, but it still had a sort of pug look to its face. So it looked obviously much healthier, but it was also just like his name was Goblin, so that should give you an idea of how he looks.
Nice. Well, the short I say they need to be stomped out, but like jokes is that they don't hurt the animals. Just stop breeding.
Yeah,
them.
just stop the breeding. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's personally, I'm not a fan of breeding in general. But that's a different conversation. but no. I mean jokes like that. I meant like purebred of any species.
That's why Scott has got a single child, guys. Flip it out of context. Roll with it. Run with it.
Sorry, I that was definitely easy. Like, I'm not a fan of breeding. No, but breeding is not. I mean, that's a whole different conversation. There's arguments on both sides, or whatever. But either way, the short version is animals like that. In my opinion, it's animal cruelty.
Little dogs, mate.
So,
I was trying to ignore that.
Oh no way!
but all right,
that's not lawful good.
No. Then all I have to say is Jake has 2 children. That's all I have to say. So let's so doesn't Josh. So I think you guys are the same height too, jokes aside. Aren't you guys the same height?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so where were we? Neil, you wanna pick us up where we left off? Wanna remind us where we were?
Yeah, sure. So last week, what did we do? Tesh failed a lot. We followed some leads. We spoke to a guard who physically saw the altercation, however, had lied to his superiors for fear of the Arcane Congress, is the presumed. We were fairly certain that was his rationale. Yeah. Because he didn't want his mind tempered with, which is fair enough, to be honest. Anyway.
He would have been correct, I think, if he'd said something.
He would have been killed as a traitor.
He
left his print.
Yeah, we cornered. Well, I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Like, throw a sword at them? How do you even aim that? Like with the gravity's upside down. Like,
there's a scale of combat
grab a bow,
when you
run
know
back.
that you're just an ant in the corner. He's like, I'm gonna leave.
Anyway, so we found out that there was some incredibly powerful magics being used during the assassination attempt by, it seemed, both the prince and another individual that apparently was using magics very similar to Tesh's in the format that they're like psychic, psionic, whatever you want to call it. In my opinion, that's just another form of arcane, but sure, or divine. And we discovered that he ran away. He backed out the room. He left because he decided there was nothing he could do in the situation and was scared for his life and left. And somehow the prince died. He was very clear, however, that the prince did not look like they were at risk of dying.
He was clear that they almost looked like they could have won against those 3 people, which is a big thing.
Something happened in between him seeing and the prince dying that resulted in the prince's death.
Either that or he just had bad judgment.
Possibly, but he is a Legionnaire Superior. So he's a veteran.
Little pussy boy.
Oh, Jesus.
We
After
know how
that,
Viggo feels about the situation.
after that, we saw him go on his date with a lady who we presume is just a normal lady, definitely nothing to do with any gems or anything. Like, no, that'd be so strange. Like, why would he have like a set of spies named after gems? Weird, huh? Anyway, we then concluded what we knew and decided we had completed our main task, which is find out what happened, who did it, how they got out the city, etc., etc. And so we decided now the only other thing to do was our secondary task, which was to aid in the protection of the new prince, during the coronation. And so we sort of turned ourselves over, Tris doing so in full military dress, and the others doing so in their civilian garb, to the Master of War, whose name was... Zephyr something.
Oh,
Zephyr
sorry,
Diamondback.
Diamondback. Yeah. Sorry, you were asking me. The Zephyr Diamondback. Yeah.
Zephyr Diamondback.
Yeah.
Who seemed like quite a reasonable fellow. However, he was a bit miffed that the
Fair enough, honestly.
River King has been meddling in his affairs, even though he's clearly an incompetent Master of War who can't keep his own prince alive. Just saying.
I love that it's like, what could you have found that I didn't? And I immediately just, the sewers. We literally walked into the city and the first thing we found was the evidence that you failed.
Anyway, he then gave us some tasks. He gave Tris the task to be as a formal guard during the ceremony and observe, in particular, members of the Arcane Congress, because he fears that they may cast spells or do something duplicitous for whatever reason. He gave Tesh the task of
basically watching over things and be ready to either chase down or attack someone
take advantage of your ability to climb, etc., with impunity. And then he asked Viggo to be on hand,
on call at the local hospital.
With his skills as a surgeon. We also suspect that the prince came into town, it would have been yesterday now, or earlier today, and came into the Arcane Congress embassy in a fancy carriage. However, we suspect that meta. Players don't suspect that.
There is about to be a gold rush of sorts as well. In regards.
Oh yeah, but guys, buy some sandals. Buy some sandals.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor and buy yourself some sandals.
All right.
Now, I asked this off stream. Did we get a date that the coronation's happening? Like, is it tomorrow or is it a couple days? We didn't
tomorrow.
get that. Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
It's happening tomorrow. They were trying to keep things. That's why yesterday morning they arrived. Today is the first of the preparations, probably partially overseen by them, and tomorrow's when it's happening. So everything is played very tight to schedule.
I need to do some long-term care because I am still hurting from being nuked.
Yeah.
Do you have any things left? Potions left?
But sorry.
Do you have any potions left?
I have some stuff I can take. I still have I still have the health potions, so I can take them if needed before we start the combat.
I can do the long-term care before you go to sleep. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but I don't know if that'll get you back to full or not.
It will get me close enough that like one pot will push me over, I think. So that would be good.
Oh.
I have to somewhat counter Norway's most recent statement in chat. They say fireballs tend to leave a mark. That's true unless it's 5e and you chose to eat a sandwich for about a half hour and then have a glass of water and maybe take a pee. In which case, the fireball is immediately absorbed into your flesh and no longer exists anymore. Because,
You mean eight?
because it
You
was a
mean
really
8
good
hours?
sandwich.
8 hours of sandwich eating.
No, I mean a short rest.
Oh, you mean a short rest? Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're expending all your hit die.
I mean, depends on what level you are, how good the fireball was, but even still, man.
Yeah, but like you're still expending a resource.
I mean, meh.
This is the same game
Just-
where I
just
chug
make-
a potion and I'm fine.
Just make it.
But
just
that's
make
because
it
it's
done.
magical. The other one's
Just-
mundane.
Yeah.
No. Hit die magical.
So that means that every person is magical?
Yeah.
That's one of those things where
Yeah, of course
it's
they
very
are.
obviously a game thing, but I personally think that it is probably 5e probably is a little too easy to heal, but also it doesn't bother me because it's a magical world.
Just make the dungeons harder, Scott.
Okay. Triple fireball.
Yeah, exactly. Easy, sorted.
One of my favorite things I've read up is the idea that you could only a long rest in a safe place, which was an interesting idea that would make that mean more.
I personally like the slow healing version where
I
you
mean,
can only
I do, but the downside is sometimes it slows down gameplay a lot.
It does.
Because you need to wait days and days and days.
But on the
before
other
you go
hand,
do
it does
stuff.
power up certain features like the Bard's Song of Rest,
That's
etc.,
true, yeah.
etc. Like Song of Rest all of a
There's
sudden
plus and
becomes
minuses of
crazy
both, yeah.
powerful because instead of healing 5 over a long rest, you heal like 15, which is insane. That
Yeah,
said,
it's
you could just
Sorry,
remove healing like you could just remove significant healing on the long rest and suddenly hit die become very valuable and it changes the game.
So that's all it is that you can't spend what is it when you spend hit die, you spend them during long rest and you don't automatically heal full health points on long rest. You just have to spend hit die there and you still recover half hit die during a long rest, which you could spend during that same long rest to heal. That's pretty much the only change, and it makes it a million times. And you could still spend them during a short rest, mind you. You spend during a short, during a long, but you don't heal full health points during a long, which is again completely because the idea of like healing full health points during a long is like they come at you and they hit you so hard they break your leg. But I took a nap and it's all better.
there is an injuries tree, like an optional thing for
Those-
stuff like that.
Those sometimes can be devastating, and not all PCs want to play with that, which I completely
Yeah, well,
understand. Because
I mean,
having a
that's-
crippled character is not necessarily something that people want to
That's
play.
true.
Yeah.
My first character
That's
lost
a
an
similar
eye.
sort of thing. Is some like it's kind of so some people don't enjoy managing the that side of things as a thing.
It very much has to be based on what your party and DM being part of the party wants. But personally, I'm more happy for that. That's why I reasonably enjoy things like Pathfinder and Stars Without Number, because it's like, I mean, do you remember like our first like person-to-person combat? A guy just walked in, shot me, and you couldn't stop the bleeding, and that's it.
But that's a very different system. So
That is obviously a very
we're
different
going
system.
down a rabbit hole, but that's a very different system. Whereas where it's very real, which again is fine, but then it loses the heroic element. Like
yeah, that's another side of things. Is feeling like a badass.
Yes,
it's actually,
I think
Nori
as-
just said those last two words there, Epic 6. And Epic 6 games are supposed to have that combination of feeling a little too real early on, but then later on in the game, it feels very powerful against most things, but it still is very dangerous combat against like the higher tier,
I would say like you do get an element of that in 5e. The first like 1 to 2 levels is quite dangerous because your health pool is so small
Yeah.
that you can be one hit by creatures. And then later on, you get to a point where like you just start fighting dragons, and Dragon Breath is terrifying. But then you get to a point where
Scott, I have not played a single game that started at level 1 where a party member hasn't almost died immediately.
I mean, sure, but like again, different tiers here. At level 1, let's say you got smashed by an ogre because you were fighting something you shouldn't have, or whatever, and they dropped you and they brought you to like -9 health points. Oh, that doesn't exist. You're only at 0. Don't worry, roll the die. If you get a 20, you stand back up. You know what I mean? Like it's
No,
not
no,
anywhere
no.
near as
No,
threatening
Yeah,
negative
as
health
you do.
oh my
matters
god, I
because
might
you
die.
could be instant killed.
You need a 20 and another roll.
No, you just need a
Get back
nat
up.
20 and you just get back up.
No, that's only 2 points of life.
No.
No,
That's
in
true for
5e, if
negative.
you roll a 20 on a life,
You automatically get back up with 1 health point.
Yeah, but you get up. One
Nah,
health.
we don't.
Look
We
it up.
don't play like that.
Look it up.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
No?
if they
that-
don't
I
play like
refuse.
that, that's
Rules.
fine. That's a different.
I
different-
refuse.
I mean, you can alter the rules, like Tesha's saying. But
Yeah,
speaking of altering, let's alter the conversation back to, hey Jake, how you doing, baby? So Captain, my captain, can you lead this this voyage?
Actually, he's not a captain.
Sorry, tactician, my tactician, can you lead this voyage?
That's BT to you, sir.
BJ, my BJ, can you lead this voyage?
Yeah, where are we going?
So you guys know where your positions are the next day. Was there anything else your characters wanted to do this day, right now, while you're together, before you're somewhat split up going into separate
At
directions?
some point today, I would like to check the sewers for Virgil again, so I can have him back for the damn.
Give him
combat.
back, Scott. like I don't want to have to conduct a terror attack on these poor little mushroom men, right? I want them to give back Virgil. Okay.
Well,
Or accidentally,
better get your mean
Kill
face
him.
on.
one or the other.
Oops. I've slowly been pouring gasoline into the sewers for the past 3 weeks. The sound of psychic screams.
It does sound fun, like the idea of going over to a storm drain and just kicking over an oil barrel and touching it with a torch. You know, lighter.
Job's done.
Yeah. But anyways, so
I mean, all I need to do is kill Virgil, and then he comes back in a day. So don't have to worry about not killing him.
I mean, too bad you can't have like assist suicide to Virgil. You know what I mean? Just
Expire.
Virgil all this time, he's like cutting the bindings on his wrists. Finally gets free, doesn't run, just grabs his head and just.
Besides, now I'm thinking of that creepy voice Neil makes. Not in my mind now. It's named Dr. Kevorkian. You know what I mean? Like that's the character. It's like, I do not kill the goblins when I go on adventures. I just assist them in their own choice to die. Like, all right. All right. So let's, so was there anything else you guys were doing while you were together before the next day comes into place and all the pieces are kind of like moved into place here?
No, I don't want to be seen with them too much because I don't want to give their cover up. So.
Sure. Don't want to be seen with
That
people
actually
who've
makes
been
sense.
traveling in and out and throughout the city throughout the course of the past.
It's very different though now because I'm wearing a different uniform.
wearing-
etc.
You slicked your
Yeah,
hair
cool.
the other way and you're hoping nobody notices. I get it. Go ahead.
Yeah, like Paradel's a big country, right? It's kind of like America, so I'm just presuming all the citizens just,
Can make you a disguise in the form of your own handlebar mustache.
But no, I'm actually wearing a helmet. So
Cool. Anything else for the two of you?
No, not for me.
No, so I guess the only thing I would do is I would go check the sewer again, as I said.
Okay. And it's like you're going down into the sewers. You just go along. the
No, I
outside.
literally just have to get near, try to make connection. If I don't, I just head back.
Yep. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where because you can't, that connection doesn't pass through stone. You know, you have to go to where entrances are and hope that line of effect picks up or whatever it is. And unfortunately, it does not seem to be picking up to wherever you need it to. It is not working for you, unfortunately. So it looks like we're flash forwarding to the next day.
Yes, looks like. I assume I can get long-term care overnight.
Oh yeah, Jake can take care of you.
So how much healing is that then overnight? I
Sure.
always forget how How much?
I actually gonna go back a step and have you for a second. And Jake has to make a healing check for you, anyways, which he'll do in a moment, or a nature check, whatever he does. I'm actually gonna have you go back a step and roll me an intelligence check, Dash.
Okay, it's not bad.
This is part of your systematic searching. Are you happy with your 15?
Oh, okay. Holy fuck. Sorry. You know what? Let's see how many lucks we have today.
Apparently that was the only one.
Oh, whoops.
Okay.
My bad. Okay, so that's 17.
Give me 1 second. So at one point in time, you are actually able to, for a fleeting moment, feel a presence of it. For a fleeting moment, it's one of those things where, like, you even go to speak to it, but it just doesn't work out because of, unfortunately, the area that you're in. There's this quick moment where you're like, you feel the connection. You're like, wait, Virgil, but then it disconnects quickly thereafter. It's as you're walking throughout the city, past the sewer grates and whatnot. You pick it up close to the actual prince's promenade, right where the palace is. Walking by one of the sewer grates that are there. But again, it's a matter of one of those things where it's like, try to hold your old cell phones. You take them, you hold them in the sky, you hold them upside down, stuff like that. And like, damn it, can I just get enough to send this one text message? You know, it's over near to there that you're able to get it for just one moment or so before it's just like, damn it, you have to, like, you couldn't find that realignment. It's to the point where you think, maybe I didn't feel something. Maybe I'm just crazy. But I swore for a moment I could feel that connection. It's just been so long since you felt it. It's in days. Like, you swore you felt that connection.
Interesting.
That being said, for the heal skill, long-term care just takes a DC 15. But I think if you beat it by X number amount, or is that only surgery? No, that's only surgery. We can get the additional stuff. So you, sir, are going to heal for 2 times level for 8 hours. Oh, you doing is this a complete day rest or no? No, it's not. So it's gonna be 2 times your level for overnight.
Okay, cool. So that is 12. I'm going to take some pots. I need to remember how much each pot is.
Did he?
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't get to long-term rest the night beforehand because that was the night that you were.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
This is the first long-term one.
Yeah.
Okay, where's my scroll wheel wasn't working for some reason. Stop. Okay. I have a level 1 potion and a level 2 potion. Do I have anything else? No. Okay. So how much is the level 1 potion? How much is the level 2 potion?
1d8 plus 1. 1d8 level 2 should be a 2d8 plus 3. If it's a moderate, you're saying.
Okay, I'm going to keep the level 2 one for emergencies. I'm going to take one of the level 1 ones now and see what I get, and then I might take another one. So what was it? Roll 1d8 plus 1?
Correct. For level 1. Yep. Roll well. Yes! Oh, kudos, sir.
That is fantastic. That is enough that I'm going to leave it being 3 points under max.
Yeah. That's super cool. Good for you, sir.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Actually, Jake, do you have anything you could offer him to help out with those last 3 points or not, mate?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's honestly fine because that means I have 2 potions on me for emergencies instead of just 1. So that's fantastic.
That is fantastic. That's Tethys. We don't care about Tethys. Where's the other one?
The other one was the one you made big, and then I think you removed.
Yeah, no, I got you. I just have to find the peoples. All right, cool.
There it is.
So, anyways, cool. So it's now the big day. You're feeling great. You're like beefed up. It's one of those things where in the morning you wake up and you're feeling significantly better. But honestly, with what's going to be going down today, you think it's best to, think to yourself, it's best that you are properly prepared for this. So you end up, before you head downstairs to go get a properly hearty meal, you don't know in the next time. It's one of those scenarios where you've served in the military for a couple of years now, each of you, whatever it is, right? You know this is one of those scenarios where eat a big breakfast, make sure it includes some nice starchy meals, like go for some nice carb-heavy meals, because you're going to be hungry later on, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it for a while. And definitely make sure you get out your morning dump. Make sure you take a nice big piss, because again, the likelihood of you being able to break line mid-ceremony to go relieve yourself is very, 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 very slim. So you all kind of like going through this, and Tesh, you kind of like getting up, and you just like your neck still hurts, your shoulder hurts and whatnot. You just kind of like I feel just like the weight, not necessarily the burn of the not necessarily the burn of that stuff that's still there, but like healing and a little itchy or whatever. The big part is it's just like how you had pulled your muscles as you were trying to scramble to get away, right? So you end up like screw it. You pop this potion, you drink it, and oh boy, is it effective. I mean, literally, some of your scabs literally just kind of like, it's one of those things you drink the potion, like, oh, instantly, like instant pain relief. Like when you just feel like a wave wash over your body. And you even look to see like where some of the burns in your arm is, and literally like a scab just falls off, revealing like fresh skin that's still healing underneath it. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, this feels great, you know?
I made a nice discovery. I had an extra level 1 in my backpack that wasn't on the quick belt. So I have 3 pots left.
Beautiful. That's awesome. So
Yes.
hopefully you don't need them.
Hopefully.
So each of you are going to start going to report to your appropriate areas. You know what I mean? Jake, you're going to go meeting up with medical peoples. Neil, you're going to go be part of the proper guard. Neil,
my prep this morning is I'm going to sharpen both my weapons.
Okay.
And my whetstone. So 15 minutes of work. So 30 minutes of work. And then they have a +1 on the first damage roll, if it happens.
And Tesh, you actually don't have to worry so much about if you need a pee, because you could totally like camouflage, drop yourself in an alley. You know.
What do you mean? You can just pee in a suit. It's watertight.
What's cool is I haven't actually chosen a main stone yet, so I still have I can use any of the 4-screen Inevitable Strike or Chameleon. I can choose to be the active one yet. I haven't done it yet, so I have a little bit of adaptability.
And to counter Norway, princes may only be able to be assassinated once, but people like Leon Jaeger.
Wow.
All right. So okay, cool. Though I do like the idea that you have a crystal plate that just flaps open. Like, so anyways,
there's a zipper on the front of the crystal.
well, a lot of new IRL jets that are made for like the Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps and whatnot, and the actual like the U.S. military, a lot of their helmets are worth like several $1,000s because the entire face of the helmet is made out of sapphire crystal. Granted, probably lab created sapphire, but nonetheless, the entire faceplate is made out of sapphire crystal because it actually allows for video game style HUD displays where it actually has like a ton of details, like data is put on the actual display of the helmet. Cool. Yeah, so some of the planes have
cool.
Yeah, some of the planes actually have cameras that like look through the bottom of them. So when they turn on a certain setting, they can actually look down, and it's like a VR. Like an AR. So they look through the plane and they can see beneath the plane. Yeah,
that's really cool.
So
that's one of my favorite things in sci-fi is the idea of like cameras augmenting the vision of like a heads-up display.
dude, it's not sci-fi anymore.
I know, it's cool.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like I watched someone use one of the rollable screens to roll out a map that had like things they could move around and touch, and I was like, that is the most sci-fi thing I've ever seen, and I love it.
Yeah, that shit's going full next level. You know what I mean? But anyways, the reason I bring it up is because a hard crystal with like curves and stuff like that, totally possible. Poop. All right. So anyways,
just sitting there with a drink.
Besides, there's no better time than while you're pooping to switch out your suppository. So why don't we get into the actual stuff? Jake, one of the important things about your character is because of your actual task. You're going to be stationed there only with other officers. There's 0 enlistment over inside the medical area, right? So these are all officers that don't necessarily command troops, because there are many different types of officers in the different branches of the military, right? These are people who have had appropriate training, know how to handle stuff under pressure, so on and so forth. They're going to know when it comes to triage. Part of triage is who you service first, as well
That's
as
actually what triage is deciding who gets what.
yeah, well, and also what body part gets what. So, but either way, so you are you're going to be going there and kind of being a part of that group. As we know, Tesh, you're going to be sneaking on the rooftops. Now, definitely go over your character sheet right now, because it's the most important for you, and look at what details you need to have on there, what modifiers you need to have on there, to try to stay as out of sight while being as perceptive as possible. So get your modifiers in line. And Neil, who is creepily talking to us while pooping himself.
I'm not. I'm making myself a coffee because someone talked about coffee and I read it and I was like, oh, I could go for a coffee.
Neil, I can't wait to have a proper coffee with you. I
Yeah,
can't
me
wait.
too, man. That would be really awesome. Not gonna lie.
You'll come to these states, and the only thing we'll do is we'll be like, oh, where's next? I'm like, oh, a cafe. Didn't we just leave? Where's next? Oh, another one. But it's not like Italy where they're like every corner. Here, you have to find them. The ones where otherwise it's like Dunkin' Donuts.
3 hours later, me and Scott are just like sitting on a sofa, just shaking. It's like,
Oh, all right, cool. Anyways, so let's keep going. So you guys get into your appropriate areas. Now, we're gonna have this entire scenario be summed up with one thing. If Anno is here, he can roll a D1000. If he rolls high, everything goes smoothly, and that's the end of this entire encounter. If Anno is not here, or if he rolls low,
Anno's not here,
then we're gonna have to play this out. We'll give 10 seconds on the clock for Anno. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stream delay 1, stream delay 2, stream delay 3, stream delay 4, stream delay done. All right, Anno's not here. So that means we're gonna play this out, boys. Sorry. I tried.
What would you have done if he turned up right then and rolled like a 9-9? 9.
That would have been.
You're just like,
He
just
happened to open the stream and be like,
ooh, season over. I hope you enjoy.
I played it safe. I didn't say Viking. Viking's true blue. So, whereas we all know that Anno is red, about as red as they come, don't they? Soviet Anno, Comrade Anno. Sorry. So back to.
I also like how you deliberately didn't say what was high, so you could be like, not high enough.
Sorry, but if you rolled a flat 1,000, I'd be like,
yeah.
all right, cool. So where were we?
And this is going to be a skill challenge, right?
This whole thing?
Yeah.
I mean, there's also stuff that's going to play out there.
Okay,
but,
cool.
Yeah. So
I'm quite excited. I've never been to a coronation before.
Yeah, and I almost didn't turn my fan on. That could have been bad. So yeah, we'll play this out as a skill challenge for you guys, and we'll see how this all plays out. So the important thing when it comes to lining up the entire ceremony, when it comes to lining up the entire ceremony, you have, for you, Neil, your character at first is not needed, because needless to say, the Arcane Congress mages, they're not standing out there doing nothing for hours and hours and hours on end, like a lot of the footmen and mounted soldiers are, right? They're there holding line. Though granted, there is a rotation of who's in the various positions. They're there holding line for people that want to see what's going on. They're there checking for security. They're there literally on the rooftop of the prince's castle as well. Something that most people wouldn't be aware of, by the way, Neil. Actually, Viggo probably wouldn't see it at all. But your character, with his being able to be behind the prince's castle and being able to see where it was that they were climbing up and climbing down, and Tesh with him being on rooftops as well, there's people up on that area, like literally on the roof of the prince's palace, whatever you want to call it, to be able to watch outwards as well. And they have crossbows, not just any crossbow either. They have Stalingrad crossbows, not even just Stalingrad crossbows either. These are, I mean, not that your character would necessarily realize this, but you could tell that they are very well crafted Stalingrad crossbows. In the meta, these are magically enhanced crossbows. Like, they're not messing around with any of this. These are seeker enhanced crossbows, which means that if somebody has cover or whatever it is, it's going to be able to compensate for those penalties, right? So these
I
are
like the idea of there being a core of the Peridot military that is like, it's literally their job. They literally just shoot with Stalingrad crossbows.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Think about it. This is an extremely important event, especially considering what just happened recently. So that being said, so you're able to see that, and most likely Tesha's character is able to witness those. We'll get to that when we see his perception checks, right? Is able to get to those as well. See them up there. But Neil, your character, because you're not under command of the typical people that are there, you're actually directly under command of the Master of War, the MOW. So you go out there when one of the MOW's very specific lieutenants tells you, or commanders sends you out there to go, and you've been given the order to just follow or stay by, but be friendly with if they talk to you. Don't be like the various members of the Arcane Congress, which I'll get to in a second. So you actually have, for the first parts of the ceremony, it's very relaxing for you. Aside from being on duty and watching them, you're not out there marching, you're not out there like having to keep a straight back, so on and so forth. So we're going to get to you in a second for your perception checks, your sense motives, your diplomacies, whichever angle you're trying to take. So again, think about that as you're inside like the wing. So you're literally inside as opposed to outside during this. Viggo, you currently are in a building off to the side that is, as of right now, has been, what's the word I'm looking for? Confiscated? I think it's the word. It was taken. Commandeered. Thank you, sir. Has been commandeered by the military to act as one of the auxiliary spots for additional service members. So the building is most likely going to be handed back to whoever it is that uses, owns it, whatever it is. So you're actually in there with a bunch of medical professionals, and they're kind of like, it's funny because you're listening to them speak to one another, and they're talking about the various techniques and developments and things that have been found, like herbs up inside the swamps of the Dale lands and stuff like that, that supposedly have
I
these
really
different
thought you were going
properties.
somewhere different when you said herbs up inside there. I was like, oh, Scott, really? Come on.
But the suppositories are for Tej. So you are, you sir are listening to this, and for you, it's all like, what are they doing? That all sounds so barbaric. It's like you're hearing how like somebody wants to do like laser eye treatments, like fix somebody's like poor vision, and you're like, no, that's not what you do. You pop out the eyeball, you cut it in half, you fix it from the inside, stitch it back together, and pop it back in. That's how I do things, because obviously you have a very different. You're a vivisectionalist. Let's just be. Yeah. You're a freak show. Like, you take the eyeball of a cat, which is clearly better than a human eye, right? And then you just pop it right in there. Good as new. So anyways,
Better than you.
don't cats have notoriously bad vision too, or something like that? Oh no, they can't see things that don't move. or
Yeah,
whatever.
within like 30 to 40 centimeters, their vision is very, very poor because they're designed for target focus at long range.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
And once they're getting close, whiskers everywhere.
Isn't that the reason why like you have to shake the food sometimes and show that you've moved it for them to be like, food.
Unfortunately, I have to deal with that with the cat all the time. I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but Neil, I do want to tell you that Brat, while I was away from the bachelor party, apparently Brittany came downstairs to do laundry and found the back half of a mouse.
Oh,
No, she earned her keeps.
yeah.
A mouse got into the house and she ate it. That is one more year of comfort.
You sure she didn't bring it in?
No, she's not. She's an indoor only cat.
Okay.
The only time she was
Yeah.
outdoor was that time and right after we moved
Perfect.
there. Yeah.
It's just like Artie. Like, I'll go downstairs, like make my morning coffee, and I'll look over, and there's just like this huge semi-munched spider that Artie has hunted down and then left. And I'm like, good job, cat.
Good job. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she eats lots of spiders if she can see them. But I don't know if you remember, I had to leave the bulkhead open for a long time because I was murdering myself with this. Because we were working on the table. Anyways.
Yeah.
So that's probably how it got in. But back to the game. So yeah, you're inside there doing that. So to kind of like lay the groundwork, as we've described many times beforehand, there are multiple streets that lead up to the prince's kind of promenade, the prince's palace. There's a bunch of buildings kind of all around this big circular area that is open and vacant, leading to the prince's palace in the middle. All the streets that lead up to it, all the actual open ways that lead up through the buildings into this area, they have all been clogged off for a couple weeks now, as you guys are aware, while they're preparing for this. They've had a line of guards there for a long while, and even for a short period of time, as Tesh identified, there is illusionary walls that are there. There might still be illusionary walls. You guys wouldn't be able to necessarily tell because you're now on the inside of the walls. You have no idea what's on the outside of the walls. What you are also aware of is that two of the buildings that were of importance were completely demolished and instead were erected. They were, Neil, what word did we use last time? You and Nora, we said it. We have the A.
Were you talking about the Acropolis in Greece?
The Acropolis, yeah,
Athens?
like a Greek Acropolis. So the giant columns with a made out of like a granite with like a suspended roof above, and inside them you have these gigantic, large, these gigantic statues, like huge size statues that are in there. But again, with like coverings on them, they've yet to be revealed.
And the coverings are covering the sandals.
The sandals can partially be seen underneath it, partially, because the wind billows, man. Wind blows it up a little. It's getting like a little Marilyn Monroe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit of toe action.
Yeah. Onlyfeet.com. So, it's got to be a website by now. Somebody check. So
I'm not checking that. No way now.
You're probably right. I'll trust you on it.
So anyways, so yeah, that's kind of like how it's already been described beforehand. But then inside where you have that line of guards, we have those kind of almost like sawhorses, just to stop people, like barricades to stop people, where you have all the alleyways that would lead into here between the buildings that go around this area. All of those are completely blocked off. But also, because of the way that the promenade is set up, there are five, because this whole area, the city isn't built in a circular format by any stretch of the imagination. But what builds towards this palace, as this part of the city was constructed over the years, it is circular, big circular area that leads up to the palace, as defined. So there are 3 streets that lead up to the palace in front of it. So you have the one that goes straight up to the palace's front door, right, straight down the line, which is where you guys kept walking through before. Then there's one to either side that come at the palace from about a 30-ish to maybe 40-ish degree angle from the front door off to either side of it. Then there are 2 that come from the back side. So again, you almost have to imagine almost like if you're looking from the top down. If you're looking from the top down from the back of the palace is the bottom of the top down, it looks like you're setting up a 5-pointed star, right? So you have 2 streets coming at an angled, like probably a 30-degree angle from the back, one from straight on, and one from like 40-ish degree angle from the front. The 2 in the back, as what I was just telling Neil that he saw beforehand, are completely blocked off and pushed back so far that people would have an extremely difficult time seeing any details that would happen back there. So somebody might be able to notice something from back there, but it's very unlikely. So those the ladders and whatnot they're using to get up onto the roof here, people would have a much harder time noticing. So most of the viewing is meant to be from the front. One of the things you guys also know by the plan of this is that the carriage that's going to bring the prince in, this is, you could say it's ballsy, is coming straight down Main Street. It's not like leading in from the back way and coming around. That front and center one, where the huge masses are, those masses are going to be split. So as you know what the plan is that you're going to have guards that line up behind the line of guards that hold all of the people at bay. They're going to come up, they're going to open up, and those guards are just going to march right down the middle, and then they're going to widen themselves out to allow for the carriage to bring it straight down the middle.
Ooh, that's cool.
They're doing it right down
ballsy.
Main Street. Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of like what the plan is. And so at this point in time, earlier in the morning, you have through the back ways, the back entrances, lots more guards and soldiers and whatnot are starting to be brought in. It's also during this time, Neil, your character is always up super early and whatnot. It's part of like your persona and also how Viggo likes it as well. You're up super early and whatnot. And so you're there around the same time as only a couple of the Arcane Congress members. Inevitably, you're going to realize that where you are, and this is maybe unusual, you honestly don't know one way or not, there's going to end up being about 36 Arcane Congress members that are going to be around where you are. That's
Well, and me. Are they all gnomes?
Well, that's actually a really good question. No.
Okay,
They are not all
good. Because
gnomes, yeah.
because it would be really awkward if like Triss is like 6'4", surrounded by gnomes.
No. 29 of them are gnomes. But
One of them is not because they're not sending the real prince.
no, 29 are
prince is here.
gnomes, 7 of them are not gnomes. Yeah. There's different members of them beyond just the gnomes. So a giant among the gnomes. So either way, that is a lot of the AC members that are here. Unfortunately, your character doesn't know anything about the Arcane Congress, their clothing, what they might represent. You don't know anything about that. You just know if they do something funny, choppy chop, or whatever, right? So as your character is kind of getting to place, and you're starting to do these early preliminary stuffs, is there anything, before we get to the skill challenge aspect, is there anything that your characters would want to do independently in the groups that you're in? And feel free, whoever wants to speak up, to go first.
How do we know how long roughly the coronation is going to take in terms of how long I'm going to be up on a rooftop trying to stealth sort of thing?
Yep. So the actual process, the actual coronation itself, because it's huge ceremony leading up to it, then it is itself a ceremony, and then there's like the kind of like almost like the recessional afterwards. That whole bit is going to be like a solid 6 hours of shall we use the phrase vulnerability, right?
Yep. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the chameleon stone as the primary, and I'm going to use it strategically if I have to, like getting to the position. If I then have to move, I'll use it again because I have 9 uses of it, like in terms of PowerPoints. So I can use it like, and it's 10 minutes each. So I'm going to like use it to get into position. Then if I have to move at any stage, I'll use it then, that sort of thing. I'm just letting you know for the sake of, because I wouldn't need to use it constantly. It's more just getting into position without
And
being
then staying
seen. And
stationary,
then,
yeah. And you said it's because you have to cast it as first level. It's 10 minutes a pop. Is that what you're telling me?
yeah, 10 minutes a pop, and I have 9 PowerPoints to spend.
10
on.
minutes is a long time. Even if you do that 6 times, that's an hour. That's 1/6 of the entire time. That's a long
That's what I mean.
time.
So I'm gonna strategically use it if I have to move and stuff like that. Because once I'm in position, I can be stationary for a long period of time, which would, I imagine, help.
It definitely would. What was I saying, Tesh? Is there anything else that you need to prepare or get ready on your character? Or okay,
Nope,
cool.
that's the big one.
Cool. So I imagine that your character up there, Tesh, is going up to the roof, and you've had all your meals and everything. But then, because of where you are, no. Of course it is. This is a whole event. There's street vendors out there, and you could smell their cooking.
Oh, that's torture.
Ah.
And because I'm high up, I would get like a good waft of it all.
Don't worry, it's still early enough. You can make your way down and go get some. Like,
Nope.
oh,
Oh, is that satay sauce I smell? My God.
oh, it's morning time. It's gonna be like elderberry waffles. Oh,
So
Yeah.
if I had Virgil, I could send him on a food run.
the spider walks up and they just smash it with a pan.
He has stealth, just steal stuff.
That's immoral. Norway is watching. All right. So, anyways, so you're gonna be just up there, kind of trying to lay it low, being quiet. You have nothing specific you want to do. While waiting for the coronation to actually start, Jake, is there anything you would have your character doing in the tent with the other doctors and whatnot that are there?
I guess they would do like a briefing, you know what I mean, on what to do if things go wrong. So they definitely probably go through a briefing of whatever's happening, people's roles, things like that. I would like to, I guess the thing I'm doing is sense motive on how they're feeling.
Yep. Cool. So you go right ahead and roll me a sense motive. I was actually going to have you roll for something. I was going to have you roll for that, and depending on that, roll something else anyways.
I don't have a huge sense motive, so. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with you,
I just want to add one little note as well, just so it's known. My current energy type is going to be cold.
cool. Does
Do
that mean?
do we get to go out at any time and watch the ceremony, or we just stay in the building?
Oh no, you're going to be going out there. You're going to be readily on
I want to
hand.
let you know as well that I will be using see invisibility when we're out there.
How long does that last?
40 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool. Only 40?
Twice.
Huh?
It's 10 minutes per level.
Are you only 4th level?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I confused you. I'm confusing you on Monday. My apology. And Friday. My apologies. You guys are the low level campaign. So either way. So yeah, you are going to be in there with your sense motive. One of the things that you're going to get off your sense motive, sir, is all of them seem a bit nervous. They all seem
Makes
like
sense, though.
like for you, you're cool as a cucumber. You're perfectly fine. This is routine. If something happens, don't jump into the fight. Make sure the prince and the other peoples of important survive, etc., etc. This is what you're aware of. Da, 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 da. You're given your extra responsibility of making sure that you oversee, as well as doing what you need to. But watch after anybody who's handling the prince to make sure things are handled correctly.
Did you just,
Blah, blah,
did
blah.
you just burp loudly down the mic, Tesh?
No. I sucked the last out with the straw.
Right.
And,
I was like, that seems very untesh-like.
I admittedly, even that, I was like, oh no.
Messy's so gross. He always does his juicy burps into the microphone. I just kick him from the call now.
Of
time he
course
does it.
Of course he does.
Let's kick him from the call. It's so gross. Like, to me, it's just burping in people's ears. It's so gross. So Mike used to do that. Oh, just grosses me out. Anyways, it's also rude. So where were we? So you, sir, are going to be looking there with your sense motive. The DC because of this is now going to be significantly higher, and I mean significantly. But you can go ahead and roll me a knowledge local check.
Knowledge local.
Mm-hmm.
22 if you give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, of
like-
course. Yep, you have time, of course. So are you
I was
satisfied
like
with your
9.
22?
Oh, damn. Looked over.
We have no luck.
20.
So, yep, that's it.
Are you sure you don't want to try? You don't want to give me the satisfaction of seeing that failed button? Go ahead, Jake. Give me the
No,
satisfaction.
that's okay. It's okay.
Go ahead. Sure?
I'll stay with the 22. Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, you're not able to pick up the other detail that I was referring to. So
Yep.
all you know is that those around you, you're cool as a cucumber because you're awesome, but they're all super nervous, which probably gives you a little bit of a hoidiness amongst them. Otherwise, if there's nothing else that you're going to be doing there, you're just, of course, listening to your breathing and preparing yourself.
Yeah.
And Neil, you're in there with the first handful of Arcane Congress members, and others are going to come in till eventually, like I said, there's 36 of them in total, 29 of them are gnomes. Of the remaining 7, you can see that, 5 of them are, you're pretty sure they're not all human. Wait, are you? Yeah, you're not pairing yourself, are you?
I am Perrin. I'm half hob, so I'm Perrin.
Yeah. So what was I saying? The Perrin themselves, even they have a hard time differentiating between young and whatnot. So you're pretty sure they're all human, but young Perrin can throw you off. There's one person you know for a fact they're Perrin because they're clearly much older. They're probably a Perrin in their like late 40s, early 50s. So they definitely have those very Perrin features to them. It's they're not like old man Perrin, but certainly not young either.
Yes.
And the last one, and this is probably the one that throws you off a little bit, is you actually see a what do you call them? Sorry, brain's not working here. Lizard folk, which
Oh,
you
interesting.
yourself have never seen a lizard folk before in your life. So when one of them comes in, and it's like a lizard person walking into the room that you're in, it's one of those things where you try not to be rude, but at the same time, you're just kind of like,
He visibly double takes, like
yeah,
like in a very social faux pas way. He'd be like, just like, oh, more people coming, Glenn. Oh wow, and then like he catches himself because it's clearly very rude.
Oh.
But like, there's no hiding it. Like he wants to stare at the man.
yep. And that's one of those, you always have a reason to just be looking in that direction. Like that's a really nice woodwork they did around that window that you happen to be sitting right in front of.
Where you try to focus with the peripheral vision, just like.
And because think about it, not a single I don't think in any of my Aurorum campaigns have kobolds been seen, right? Which are another reptilian-like creatures. Like you've never seen anything like this before.
Actually, playing my first kobold ever in Ollie's like off-stream Monday campaign.
I'm playing a kobold as well in an Austrian campaign. It's a lot of fun. Are you playing the UA one?
I'm playing the proper one from Xanathars, is it?
Yeah, Xanathars, yeah. No,
No, Volos.
Volos, yep. No, it wasn't Xanathars.
Oh, the one that just came out?
No,
No,
that's
no.
like 2 years ago now, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's a new kobold now, apparently.
Yeah, I'm playing the one from Volos. That has like sunlight sensitivity.
Yeah, no,
All the
I'm
fun
playing
shebang.
the other one, the one that has the raw instead of the pack tactics.
Yeah, no, I like it. I rolled my stats and I have a -3 or 4 strength, which is relatively appropriate for a kobold. I'm
See,
living it
mine just
up. I'm
got
loving it.
My kobold just got a belt of stone giant strength. So he's a strong boy.
Nice.
All right, cool. So you, sir, are that just reminded me of the time that Ollie got that belt in the Eberron campaign, and it was like, but other people could use it better. No, mine.
No, I'm playing a kobold barbarian, so it fits.
Yeah. Oh no, it also made sense at the time for his character to have it because he had a very strong emotional connection to the character that left it behind. But then his brother came, and he was like, I have a stronger emotional connection and can mechanically use that better. You know what I mean?
But finders keepers, mate.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Of course. Yeah, of course. To the death. Yeah. And returning from the death too. So anyways, where were we? You, sir, are in there with these, so my apologies. You have a lizard folk that's there. And let's be honest, lizard folk probably notices your non so subtle staring at them. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a what's what I'm looking for? A bluff check. You do have a
We
penalty
know
of a
where the lizard
-5.
folk are from.
Yeah, predominantly the majority of lizard folk are from northern Dale lands. They're from the swamps up there, right?
Right. Okay.
But that's not where they all live, right? That's just
I
where.
rolled very well.
I mean,
actually.
yeah, but I meant sort of like the place where you're more likely to see them is what I meant.
Exactly. Yes. And I will go ahead and roll a perception against that. Sorry, sense motive against that to see if
That
people,
makes sense because we haven't.
That was
explored that.
very good actually, considering.
Oh yeah, no,
Good
you rolled
job,
very well.
good job, Tress. Excellent.
Oh wow! Yeah.
A
That was pretty good.
+7 perception.
Oh my god, we found their looker boy.
These are all brain people.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have percent. Have you ever met a smart person? The perception's like trash.
I imagine
Their
in
wisdom,
Pathfinder
their
it's a lot
common
more
sense,
No,
their
no,
perception.
1 rank equals 4 if it's
I know.
Yeah,
class
I know,
skill.
You have
Yeah.
to remember that, like wisdom. I imagine there's wisdom casters, a lot more of them in this than there is 5e.
I bet there's no wisdom casters in the
Arcane Congress isn't
Arcane
just
Congress.
it's not just mages.
No, but they are not wise. Let's be very clear here. That's a fluke. That's a fluke. That's what.
So
Anyways, sorry.
what was I saying? So back to the thing. So the lizard folk clearly at one point in time, when you do like another one of your glances, just kind of does like a
Oh no, the lock eyes. Prolonged eye contact.
like maintains until you break away or apologize or anything you want. And it's hard to read their facial expressions because, you know, they're reptiles. They don't have them. So
Tris will try not to be rude. He's staring at it and it's caught him staring. And so he does a little awkward wave.
the creature would say, "Do you have a problem?"
No, not at all. Forgive me, but I've never seen someone quite like you before. Natural curiosity. But please forgive me. Tris, he'd offer his hand. Like he'd cross the distance and offer his hand.
He looks at the hand and looks back at you and says, "Pleasure's all yours."
Oh, fuck this guy.
I'm sure it is. Been to many of these before?
Does not respond. Just looks at you angrily.
yeah, that's right. All right, he's also part of the AC.
Oh, right, yeah. Please excuse the interruption. Next time you don't want to speak to someone, don't speak to them.
Oh, I love that.
You say that, they actually like turn the rest of their body, like they get agitated with you. They turn the rest of their body, and one of the others that are nearby that is with them will place like a hand on their shoulder. And do you speak Gnomish or no?
No, of course not.
Okay. So then they turn to them and they're like, and
Sid? Sid, is that you?
there are no, so they
I was
reach
like
up to the
Stitch.
shoulder.
I was like, it's Stitch.
And so he just kind of like looks down at the little one with like a half, "Ooh, wife time."
Wait, the lizard folk
bowl
looks
of
down at a
fruit.
little. The lizard folk looks down at the
What?
gnome and says, "Ooh, wife
Ooh,
time."
lifetime.
I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm down for it. I just wasn't expecting it. That's all.
My wife gave me my balls. Yeah, and her melons. She just yelled.
Oh my god.
She balled a melon for me.
Oh, cute.
Okay. Yeah. Snugger. And another PC added to the AC's assassination list.
Jokes aside, I'm Viking to touch on that because I keep having a skin reaction to the ring. I'm actually I'm ordering right now an 18 karat gold, which 18 karat gold is 75% gold, so it's far less likely to have any allergic reactions. It's more hypoallergenic. I'm ordering an 18 karat gold plain yellow wedding band right now. The return policy for things like this are 30 days. So I'm actually buying one for my size, and I'm going to try to wear it for about 28 days, which is 4 weeks. And if I have zero allergic reaction to it, then I'll keep it. But if I still have an allergic reaction, which is what I believe is happening somewhere along the line, I'm gonna have to return that and just eventually just get a tattoo and commit myself to no jewelry. You know what I mean? But I just keep having this like raw skin underneath, which is very, very uncomfortable. So I'm gonna try, because my wedding band that I currently have is 10 karat gold. So and it's white and rose gold. So I think it's just the mixture of metals in there, because you're gonna have a lot more of because 10 karat gold is only 46% gold. So there's a lot more other stuff that you can have reactions to. So that's what I'm working on right now. It's probably just won't, because the 18 karat gold is super uncommon in the States. It's just going to take a while to come in. And then when it comes in, then I'll, in the meanwhile. Titanium, no. Anything, those are super popular right now. Titanium, tungsten, all those are super popular. But I very much suggest never wearing those, because if you ever hurt your hand, you can't easily remove them. Like gold can be cut off with a borderline can opener. You know what I mean? Like you just go and it comes off. It takes literally like 10 seconds. You can have it done anywhere you want. If you have a titanium or a tungsten ring, good luck removing them. Some of them require you to have like almost like a driver's, like a nail driver, and you hit it with a hammer to shatter it. Some of them require you to use a diamond tip Dremel to cut through it. Like it's just one of those things. Some of them, you can't remove. Like it's just don't mess with those. Those people like them because they're like the dark colors. Don't get those. They're, God forbid you ever hurt your hand, you're fucked. So, yeah. But either way, this is a different conversation. Back to the game. So, anyways, so after that plays out and the other one says something and they just kind of like leave it be, I imagine you turn and you walk back. As you're walking back, you actually see one of the humans actually gives you kind of like a head nod, like just like, hey, like for you to go over and join with them.
Yeah, he'd go over. He'd rather have someone to talk to during this whole thing than just stand here.
Sure. As you go over, they kind of lean over to you. So they lean over to you as you like sit down or whatever, near them or stand near them, and they say, "Hey, he's sorry." They say, "Hey, he's a little pissed still, not used to it yet."
Used to staring?
We like to think that in the Arcane Congress, everybody is of higher mental capacity, open-minded, willing to learn and adapt and get familiar with others. Unfortunately, that's just us, being a little full of ourselves as an organization. She made a couple of very inappropriate comments about a few delegates that came through from the Dale Lands, from one of the important tribes out that way. And as punishment, one of her instructors said that she needs to walk a decade in their shoes, or in this case, without them, and transformed her into that. So that happened only about a year ago, and she's staring down the barrel at the better part of this transformation. Good news is you don't age during it, so, just added a decade to her life. The bad news is she doesn't like it.
I can see how my staring might have caused offense. Wasn't the intention. I've just never seen a lizard folk before. Thank you for the heads up, Triss. He'd offer his hand.
Yep. Well, reach out and take yours. My name is Galvin.
Nice to meet you, Galvin. You been with the AC long?
It says, nod slowly. Yes, my whole life.
Like it?
Do I like? I don't know anything else. I was tested when I was, as all people living in Eustis, I was tested when I was about 3 years old. I showed potential, and I've been in the Arcane Congress ever since.
Oh, they do it that way.
Certainly.
I'm sorry, 1 second.
It's the forced Harry Potter way.
No, it's the Jedi.
Oh, you're right. It is the Jedi. Yeah.
Oh, I obviously said something wrong because he just got up and left. Like, oh boy. So you like it?
What was
just
that?
Gets up and leaves, and you're like, fuck.
He like put his hands in the jumper pocket and like did a little jog. Now he said Eustace, so that may not be the way things work in Paradise.
But you wouldn't necessarily be tested
Yeah,
I
that's
suppose
yeah,
until
that's a
you
good
show
point.
some level of ability, yeah. Or it might be you're tested at a later age. But in Eustace, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, because
Sure.
they're yeah, little. I'm pretty sure is that they basically run Eustace, even though not officially.
What do you mean? No, they're a separate.
I can put that down. It's warm enough in here. What's up? Sorry.
No problem.
That's fine.
All right, so where were we? Galvin.
Triss would say, yeah. Well, at least you get to travel. What's Eustace like?
Eustace is wonderful. The small towns are always chock full of just love and joy. They love it when people come through the town because commerce, right? Get to see different people. More importantly, they love some of the magic tricks and the like that we can do for them.
You've noticed the guy standing behind him with the knife edging into his back.
Like, yeah, just at the
Meet
red
my
dot
friend
on his
Brutus.
forehead.
You know? So no, he
Yeah, I
says,
was imagining the Agents of Shields thing. The Tahiti is a magical place. Eustace is a magical place.
he says they love the little magic tricks and whatnot they see us do there because they don't get to see them too often, so they enjoy it. They're quaint and quiet, peaceful, which is nice. The cities are extravagant to the point of a bit much, if I must say so myself. The cities of Eustace are always trying to almost one up each other for their significance within the nation itself. So whether it be perhaps this city here has chosen to pour a lot of its assets into a flying chunk of rock with which to build an estate onto, or to have an orrery in the center of the city itself that accurately shows the turning of the planets in the system around the sun, or what have you. These are just obnoxiously extravagant things. But probably my favorite part of Eustace is the near lack of danger that exists in the nation. You could walk through the countryside. You could fall asleep in a meadow. You can travel alone. There's little to no banditry that exists anywhere. There's no monsters that are going to pop out and make your day miserable. It's a wonderful nation. And you head out east, and well, things change
Yeah.
drastically.
Sounds magical in some ways, and in others, it sounds strange. The AC to me, not that I'm particularly familiar, has always seemed to be an organization that preaches restraint, and your description of the cities is interesting.
See, this is a foreigner problem. You are doing what a lot of foreigners do. You conflate Eustace with the Arcane Congress. You asked me how Eustace was. You didn't ask me about the Arcane Congress. I described the nation. I didn't describe the scholarly cloisters or the universities or anything like that. Those are a very different scenario.
Very true, my friend. Very true. And you wouldn't be wrong. That is very concise with, I think, probably a lot of Paradel. We consider Eustace and AC sisters, brothers, maybe even closer.
It's the same idea, from what I've understood, that people make the same mistake when it comes to Perrin and Paradel. People associate all Perrin with being Paradel, even though that is very much not the case. And people oftentimes associate Paradel with all being Perrin, which is again, oftentimes, and he gestures to you, not the case.
Indeed, you would not be wrong in that assessment. Perhaps I could observe the ceremony from by the side of you. It's nice to have some pleasant conversation.
Nods like appreciatively, but then says, we all have our places in the upcoming ceremony. I have my task, my chants, my rituals, and you will have to follow your own bit.
You have
Star-shaped.
you have rituals to uphold. Protection?
Nods. That's right. I'm an abjurer. And he says, gesturing to his robes.
Oh, do I know the rank? Do I recognize it?
Unfortunately, not in the least bit.
I thought so.
Says, I'm an abjurer. My responsibility is to keep a shielding at bay, if you will.
I see. Well, in that case, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to distract you. And he'll give him the Perrin military salute.
Mhm.
And I thank you for your service.
He'll nod appreciatively and say, and just as a rule of thumb, staring at new people is how you can, gesturing towards her, you find yourself in trouble.
An enlightened viewpoint.
And then I imagine, I don't know if you would stick with them and maintain some degree of conversation, or
Seeing as he's like gotten in with them, he'd maybe like try to have some pleasant conversation with them and
off
the
and
people
on,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, but like understanding that, oh mate, you missed that. That's all over the top. You got goop on your jumper.
Oh.
Get it? It's dripping.
I looked away so I didn't get the change from in character to out of character. I was like, what?
Yeah, just it's like you got goop on you. What?
I like
where's Gwyneth Paltrow?
I was very confused. Oh no. Not again. Not again. Move on.
Yeah. He like for his abjuration gets a candle lights it.
No. Stop. Move on.
I swear, I want to buy one of those for Brittany for like give it to her, give it to her on like, be like, oh babe, I got you this gift on like March 30th or 31st, whatever it is. You know what I mean? That way on the 1st of April, I can light it. You know, like
That is the worst. Yeah, but what happens if like it gets shoved in a drawer and then like I don't know, years later, your teenage daughter's looking for a candle for her room and like you walk in and you're like, oh no.
that kind of joke is not okay. There are lines. There are lines, and we found one. We found the line.
No, just saying, don't buy the goop. Simple answer. It's too dangerous. It's too powerful.
Bad news.
Oh God.
But yes, Triss would like make pleasant conversation without interrupting, and also would, I presume, seeing as he rolled a natural 20 on his sense motive. One, I wanted to see, was he telling the truth? I presume he was. Also, I would want to be able to sense when I'm overstaying, so that, you know, like, thank you for your time. It doesn't want to like get on their nerves.
To finish answering your question, with that natural 20 sense motive, you guys don't have crits on this one. So
No, we don't. have
but your
crits, so
20
it's
is pretty
just a
solid.
20.
You would notice that that at the beginning when you first asked the question, when they first started telling the story about the quietness and whatnot of the countryside, you picked up a degree of sadness in the voice, but everything was genuine, no lies, just like a tone of sadness at first. But then the
Probably
tone,
where he
went
grew
away.
up,
Yeah.
and then was taken to a city. And
So, but either way, so you were you sit with them. You can go ahead and roll me a diplomacy check as you're like maintaining a degree of conversation and trying to be friendly.
nice, great, atrocious.
Do you want to modify that at all?
I mean, I do, but we don't have any luck, and it's not really an appropriate luck roll, so no.
Are you sure it's not an appropriate luck roll? These are the Arcane Congress members.
Yes.
So, you're with your 12 diplomacy, you're able to maintain a positive conversation with this one individual person. And Tesh,
You're
Tesh, are you okay?
No, that's okay.
Tesh, are you okay?
Okay.
Come back to the light.
Okay, just bear back real quick.
Um,
Do that so I don't have to turn off my camera. And
no, you're good. I'm just teasing. So what was I saying, sir? I'm sorry. You
Maintain a positive conversation with
with
that
this one
chick.
individual person. However, you just don't come off as charming enough to really pick up anything or maintain any degree of conversation worth noting from the others. So it's just this one person, Galvin, that you're having a pleasant time with, who, as he's already defined to you, is an abjurer. Later on in conversation, you could pick up that he is a abjurer of renown back home. Like he has. He's capable of using some fairly powerful magics, is what he says. He doesn't get into any more detail than that. Anyways, and that's kind of like where we'll end it for you. All three of you did your little side steps that you wanted to do. So now we're going to get into the actual beginning description of the ceremony. We're going to skill challenge. We'll keep describing skill challenge and then finish it up. Okay. Assuming things go swimmingly. Yes, sir.
It says sweet.
Oh, sweet. Sorry, I thought you said. My apologies. Okay, so when the ceremony finally starts, all 36 of the Arcane Congress members are there and whatnot. You finally are going to kind of be filed out. Now, as I said beforehand, there's going to be all the guards that are going to be swelling up behind that main street. You know, the street 0, like the one that goes right up to the front door of the prince's palace, right into the promenade. All those guards are going to be forming up right there. These guards are very, very, very ceremonially dressed. Now, in Pathfinder, there's this really cool mechanic called ceremonial armor. It's a weaker armor, but looks really cool. This isn't that. This is proper armor that also has ceremonial stuff on top. So this is some heavy crap that they're wearing. I mean, this stuff
I wear
is...
parade armor.
Yeah, parade armor, that's what it's called. Yeah, you do. That's right. So this is some heavy stuff. More importantly, you can notice that the armor that they're wearing there, you can tell by the not only is it very polished, very well maintained, full plate armor that they're all wearing, there's also like gold work put on the trimmings of this armor, gold work put on the trimmings of the shield. These aren't just like royal guards, if you will. These are royal guards in their full ceremonial garb, right? They have plumes that come off the top of their helmets that are, to your characters, you would know what the significance of those plumes are, that signify like maybe what rank they are or whatever the case may be. And they're getting prepared in the area. This is very exciting.
They're all champions.
It's a very exciting part because out the front door of the what is it called? The palace, you actually see all 36 of the Arcane Congress members are going to line up behind these guards as the guards are all lined up in a because they're going to be going outwards in like a 6x8 square set up there. As the beginning of the ceremony starts, which is literally the marching of the guard as part of the ceremony, as the guards march from around back to the front to like meet in that front area. You have 3 rows and 3 rows making their way around. They march in perfect unison with one another. You can feel the clattering of the boots. So as they march around in perfect unison, you can just hear that echoing throughout the areas. It just looks absolutely amazing. Even the way that they have their shields and they move their shields as part of the march, it adds this almost like mesmerizing, really nifty nature to it. They line up behind the area where the people held at bay for that street. And then the door opens up and the various Arcane Congress members come filing out in the various robes that they have there. But then this is where the excitement happens. As they're off to the side, you have the you'll have like drummers off to the side doing like the dun run 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 setting up for the pacing and whatnot so they can do the appropriate marching. You see that the guards that are there even do it's to say that it was a dance, it makes it sound goofy. But they put on a perfectly aligned like a perfectly choreographed display of just the intense training of these guards and how they're able to wear this incredibly heavy armor and they're able to hold these incredibly heavy shields in one hand, and occasionally draw out these bastard swords and have them out in one hand, and whatnot. You'll notice that the bastard swords that they have, all at the hilt of the bastard swords, have the symbol of Lady Aravel on all of them. They are taking up, they're putting into display just like the way that they're moving their bodies and whatnot, and behind them, the way that the Arcane Congress are adding little bits of additional display. It adds a lot of flavor to the ceremony here. We're talking even to the point little sparks being shot up into the air, almost like firecrackers and whatnot, to give like a really cool military display. The sound of the person kind of like giving the commands to the soldiers as they're like turning about face and stuff like that. That's also going to be magically enhanced to be significantly louder. You can almost imagine if you were playing 5e, this being like a thaumaturgy spell used to make them sound booming, loud, and impressive, et cetera, for little magical effects. So all like some pretty low level stuff that's happening here. Then what ends up happening is the once they're done doing this like this display, and you see bannermen again coming around the sides, flanking the area, kind of like filling up the whole place with huge flags, et cetera, and whatnot happening. The guards that are actually set with the, again, I keep referring to them as excuse me, sawhorses that are act as blockades. The front groups of them in the middle are moved to the side, exposing the people that are there. You actually see that the guards themselves go to start walking down the aisleway. Neil, go ahead and roll me a perception check. Well, you're 15. You notice that one of the Arcane Congress members, one of the gnomes that happens to be standing there in the middle, they actually quickly, as the thing opens up and the people are revealed on either side, they actually quickly incant something, and they point like almost like finger guns, a line straight down in the middle of the 6 rows of guards that I'd mentioned, straight down the middle of the 6, right into the area where they are. You see them do that. They just kind of like point down there, incanting something. Again, you don't understand magic or whatever it may be. But one of the things that you do notice, again with your perception check, is that the people right down that middle alleyway that's there, they happen to like look a little confused and looking down at the ground, almost like the ground is uneven for them, like it's uncomfortable for them, and they quickly like whoa, and they start like moving out of the way right as the guards start marching forward and perfectly easily marching straight down the way. Now the guards end up going into rows of 2 by 2. That's it. So instead of being 6 by 8, it ends up being 2 by 2 going all the way in. So you have the first 2 groups go down, the next 2 kind of like file in and go down, and the next 2 file in and go down, and they spread themselves out. As this is happening, we're gonna have Tesh with your character perception check, please.
Okay. Ooh.
You've noticed from ages away, while you're up on that rooftop, and I imagine you're doing very much like the Batman. As you're up there, you actually notice from ages away, cresting over the top of the rooftops where you're looking, you can see that some of the bannermen have their pillars high enough into the sky with the banners and the flags and whatnot coming off of them, starting to make their way down the streets, down the way coming over. Now, of course, they're surrounded by their own number of guards and whatnot that are there. They have their own protections and whatnot that are on it. So they're not too terribly concerned. It's not like something might happen there, right? So they're making their way down the streets and you can see it. Do you have your character stay where he is, or do you want him to get closer over that way to watch it? Or do you stay poised where you are because you know that you're going to come down the street?
I think how easy from where I am would it be to move to that place? Because I think Galen probably would want to make sure he gets a good view on them coming, because that's probably one of the places they're more vulnerable than when they get into the square where all this is happening. So yeah, I would want to move up, but I would use chameleon as I move.
Acrobatics and stealth checks there.
Cool.
Yeah, and ain't nobody gonna see you.
Oh no.
A 12
I do have
is
a
not
climb
horrible.
speed. Yeah, I do have a climb speed. So the important thing is not being seen. So
The important thing is the jumping from roof to roof. That's the important part. Are you comfortable with the 12?
no, I'm not. But
Wanna
I'm
look it?
worried about lucking. Yeah, I'm worried about it. I mean, I can recover from falling. It might be a little bit of damage.
If you recover from
But-
falling, it's not necessarily a matter of damage. It's also a matter of it's a lot more difficult to be stealthy when you go. Ah!
That's true. Fuck it. Hey, okay, better to 15.
All right, 15. You have
I'm full.
absolutely no problem going down. Getting from roof to roof as you're rushing your way along, being as quietly and well camouflaged as possible to make your way over there. You get up there as you see them coming the rest of the way up the side street that they're coming up. And looking at the entourage that they have with this caravan, oh boy, they have a lot of soldiers that are marching with it. That you can see that are
Good.
coming along with them. Again, running with your 28 perception check, you can see a lot of soldiers are marching with them. On top of the very, very ornate carriage that they're coming with, there's also guards sitting on top of the carriage itself, looking up, looking about, trying to see anybody that's in the area. I'm gonna go ahead and roll a perception to see if they notice you, but the likelihood is fairly slim. Now, this is somebody who's trained for this. So this is somebody who's good at perception, obviously.
Yeah. Oh wow, but they didn't get me.
They didn't. Well, you did move, right? You're running and jumping. Maybe they did. Maybe. Now, even them didn't notice you because you have a disgustingly high result, right? So
Right now, I'm literally camouflaging in with I'm chameleoning in proper with the rooftops. So
yeah, if you weren't
not even just like
chameleon-
my normal slight.
if you weren't chameleon or you weren't as far as you are, you know what I mean? Then maybe they would have noticed you, but they did not. Because I don't know if you know this, but every 10 feet you're away from something, you get a -1 to perception checks. So
Did not know that.
yeah,
That's good
so
to know.
I'm countering your movement with your distance. So
That makes
but-
sense.
so those results are accurate. But moving on. So you are up there and watching, and you can see the guards that are there. But more importantly, with your perception check, you also see among the guards a robed figure that's down there as well. Very obviously an Arcane Congress robed figure that's down there as well, that's walking with them. More importantly, with your perception check, you can see that the robed figure is walking with their hands out wide, almost like they're holding something when there's nothing in their hands. And you can see their lips. You're pretty sure that their lips are still moving slightly, like they're actively maintaining some sort of a spell. Yes, Neil?
Take the shot.
Yeah. To take the shot. Out of curiosity, from where I am to where like the entrance to the building, the prince's building, is about how far is that? I just want to know distance wise from like one end to the other end of this square.
Wait, my apologies. To you're saying we're there about to turn the
Oh,
corner?
no,
in the
so where
street,
I am to like the entrance to the prince's.
where you are currently, not where you were
Yeah.
prior to moving.
No, where I am currently. I just
Okay.
want to know, just so I know to move in the future if I need to do so and stuff like that.
So, because you moved down the street to where the turn is, you're probably now about, I would say, maybe to the actual to the promenade or to the actual house, the front door.
To the actual house, because that's where
I'd say
I'm gonna
100
end up
yards,
going.
100 meters, 100 meters.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
From where it is now that you've moved up a bit, right? So you see
Yep.
this thing moving forward, and you see it starting to round the corner. It rounds the corner very slowly. Like it doesn't like go around particularly quickly or anything like that. All the guards are like looking stone-faced, watching forward, et cetera, as you're seeing them making their way over. Okay, this is where we're entering into our skill challenge mode. This is where we're having our fun. So I hope everybody kind of thought of what their characters would be doing, how they would be assisting, so on and so forth for part one of the skill challenge number 1 here. Skill challenges, there's no initiatives that you have to follow with these, right? Oh, they can be initiatives if you're doing combat style. Who wants to go first, and what do you want to do?
I would like to stealth, basically keep pace with the, maybe not keep pace, but like keep around where the whole caravan of people. How do I explain? where the whole people moving up towards the thing are. I want to stealth.
Yeah, the carriage.
Carriage, yeah, that's the one. Just use my right now obscenely high stealth while I can.
You roll your stealth check to maintain hidden and to keep pace with them so that you can try to get as accurate a view as possible.
Exactly, yeah. Okay.
Neil, Jake stepped away for a second. What is it your character's doing in this situation? Oh,
I mean,
and
that's-
Tesh, don't forget to roll your success there.
Yeah. So
I think
how
that one's
is-
that might be a D12. Give me 1 second.
So it's not a trained skill, but Dex is the modifier, and currently have +5 Dex. So how does that work with?
Give me 1 second. The rules are right down. We should have like a short version of the rules as a quick for our campaign, just because we like using these. Okay, so let's see. During the progress-based skill challenge, a character can attempt to earn progress as a half cycle action. Attempting a skill check. Each primary skill listed. Whenever a character succeeds a skill check to earn progress, the amount of progress earned is based upon the character's proficiency with the skill. If they have either 10 ranks in a skill focus in a skill, or both 5 ranks and or both 5 ranks in the skill and the skill is a class skill, a successful check is 1d12 plus ability modifier.
It's not also a class skill. I do have 5 ranks in it, but it's not also a class skill.
And you also don't have skill focus or anything like that? Okay, so you don't get that
No.
one. If they have 5 ranks in a skill, or it is a class skill but not both, you get 1d8 plus ability modifier.
1d8. Cool.
Okay.
1d8 plus 5.
You gotta have to make that a class skill for yourself. That's a 3-point difference.
That's what I mean. I've talked to you about wanting to figure out how I can train in it, because that is something I want to do.
You want to gain a trait that gives it to you, because then it also gives you a plus 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so that's okay. You get average there or whatever. So you got a +9 for the amount that you want. And so just keep if you don't mind keeping a marker, one of you, for the 9. Cool. Neil, what was it you were doing, sir? Jake's probably just having a son.
I'm thinking about this now. Like, it's a very difficult task for Triss because he doesn't know magic at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he understands that some of the people he's observing will be casting magic because they're abjurers.
Mm-hmm.
But should there be other people casting magic? Maybe, possibly not.
A perception check would allow you to see something that maybe is out of place. A sense motive would allow you to read them, see if they seem like they're behaving in a way that is out of place.
So I think because he's at this point probably like the AC have gone off and he would have mounted up.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd be on Carrick, able to see them all relatively well. I think I would have to go for a sense motive because, one, Triss is more likely to, like, if they're acting wrong, to pick that up. And also I think Triss would also trust like Carrock. Like Carrock has like better perception than he does, like and scent and stuff. And horses, they pick up energy very well, like nervous energy, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can only imagine that he would like maybe be moving behind the AC members somewhat, and like Carrot tosses his head, or like as they're going past a certain person, and like give them the old sense motive, the old look over. I legitimately think that given his skills, given his background, that is his best and the way he would trust the animal senses, like it knows, right? So sense motive.
Okay. No, you're good. No, the
I like it.
explanation's important.
Yeah.
Ooh, you rolled well. Are you happy
did
with that
well.
roll, or do you want to luck that to try to hit that sweet 20?
I wouldn't like to luck it, but could I have Karok assist me, or is that too OP? Just because of my description,
You know,
like, you know what I mean? Like, he rolls a perception and it adds like maybe a +1 or whatever if he rolls well.
Carrick's perception would definitely be able to notice if something overt was out of place, but Carrick wouldn't necessarily be able to notice subtle things out of place because it's not an intelligent animal. It's just an animal.
No. Yeah, sure.
Like a subtle thing like a snake in the grass, sure, but not a subtle thing like a misgesture of a hand, you know?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, yeah, maybe like an object appears in their hand or something that either makes a noise.
Viking, if you love Carrick so much, why don't you marry him? Or cast Awaken. Anyways.
No, Karok's perfect just how he is. You leave him alone. Okay, no, that's fine then. I mean, I kind of want to luck it because I don't want to miss something.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I say go for it because that. Oh, nice.
Huzzah! Beautiful. Okay. I know what I'm going to give you for information with that one in a second, but again, I don't want to say anything quite just yet. Go ahead and roll me that 1d8 plus ability modifier because this is a class skill that's untrained for you. And for you, Jake, so he did sense motive watching the mages themselves, trying to see if anything seemed out of place because he doesn't know magic. He was sneaking along and trying to get like a proper look down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What are you doing over by off to the side, part of like where the banners and whatnot are, appropriately garbed and whatnot, and your nice officers' uniforms, over by where the bannermen and everything are, just to the side? How are you trying to add anything to the situation, sir?
So as far as I'm concerned, it's wait and see. So I'll be watching. I can see invisibility, but at the moment I'm just watching on.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead, Mr. Watching On, and roll me a perception check? Did that roll twice, or is that just my computer?
No, I only got one roll.
I might actually luck this myself, so I get that tier.
Oh, go for it.
Out of place, it'd be good to know.
Getting the skill challenge over quickly will be good. Gives us an advantage.
For him, it's a trained class skill, but he only has 4 ranks, not 5. So he only he gets a plus 1d8 plus modifier. Thank you, sir. Beautiful. Why don't you go ahead and roll me that 1d8 plus ability modifier, whatever your wisdom modifier is. Jake's camera froze up for a minute, so it looked like he took a nap. Your wisdom modifier is only a +1?
Yeah.
Wow. Your internet really is bugging out. That's funny.
Yeah, it's unhappy.
Okay.
Wait and see.
So, with the skill challenge, I can tell you guys that you got a partial success. So, I set the DC very high, as it was supposed to be for the situation. So you were able to notice things as they were happening, but not enough to act before things happen, right? So you can already notice that things are starting to take place.
Oh no!
Let's give it a minute for him to return.
Yeah. No. Oh. I also realized I said that very much like the oh no, our table, it's broken.
I don't get that reference.
It's a TikTok sound that's going viral at the moment.
Oh, TikToks.
I don't TikTok.
Same.
Neil, boomer with me. Wait, Jake, do you TikTok?
No.
You are muted.
Oh, Tash, you're the zoomer here.
I feel like they're kind of an easy way to just waste your time, like because it's such an easy format to consume. It's the same with like YouTube Shorts. Like you just end up like just bam.
The best way I can describe it is just usually audio memes. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just give him a minute to come back.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for usually what I do is I find like a stand-up comedians and I put them on my phone and I listen to them as I'm driving. So I put like headphones in. I listen to stand-up comedians while I'm driving. But like if I'm looking for short, quick media, the lock-picking lawyer is like my go-to.
I do quite enjoy a bit of lock-picking lawyer. He's like, one of my favorite bits. He's like, here's the slash-proof bag. Done. That's it. That's the video.
Yep.
It's like, here's my knife.
Yep. I love when his videos, they're usually about 2.5 minutes, and most of that. So I got Brittany watching them too, and it should be like 2.5 minutes, and we'll be watching them, and I'll be like, yeah, what? That's like a bit, because she's like, no, he was talking the whole time. That is a gun safe. He should not have been able to open a gun safe in less than 3 seconds.
It is terrifying the amount of like various gun locks that he can open various tricks extremely quickly. Like, I remember there being
he knows them, but
like
yes.
like a finger. Yeah, obviously he's an expert in the field.
Yeah.
But it's like a fingerprint one for your pistol, so it's locked on. You can't do anything. Let's use your thumbprint or whatever to lock it out and get the pistol out. And he like just goes with, I can't remember what it was, but it's like just a common implement, and he just goes,
yep,
pistol out, and you're like, Jesus.
My favorite was the coat hanger with a gun safe that has like 3 little lights in it, and he literally just puts a coat hanger, pokes out the light because the lights are held there by a sponge. And it's just 3 holes in the safe, and so he just shoves it in, goes around the corner, pulls the lock open, and opens it up. And it was like, cool, you know? So it's so funny. I won't lie though, I totally want to buy some of his tools and see if I can pick locks. Like, see if it's
it does. I think it would be, if you had the time and the inclination, the patience to learn, it would be satisfying and fun.
Yeah. But
like when it's just the way he does it.
Everything I know, but I have in fact picked a lock before, like one of those
one of the
very
see-through ones.
Stereotypical gold. Thing. Yeah, I picked one of those before. I can't remember anything, so I wouldn't be able to do it now.
My favorite is when he's like, "This lock only needs a wave tool." Done. And it's like,
yeah, because there's different ways of doing it, and he just like goes, "I'm just going to try and book." And he just hits all the pins and they all go up and he turns it and that's it.
Or he did one recently. The minute was about 2.5 minutes long. So Brittany like, oh, he's probably going to talk a lot through this video. And he opens 9 locks while talking. Like he talks for about 1 minute and 45 seconds. And then over the course of like 30 seconds, he opens 9 locks. And like easily, just like done. And I'm like, ah!
Yeah, that's a little terrifying.
He obviously, as we say, he's working in like a stress-free environment, and he's clearly an expert.
Yeah,
this is his profession.
Yeah, he says that.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that his face is never on camera either. He has kept it complete anonymity,
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing. All it's known is he used to be a DC-based lawyer. That's all that's known. So, so cool. Anyways,
their internet seems to have shored up.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Oh, well, Jake gave the old Fonzie. You know what I'm saying?
Mobile hotspotting right now.
Oh, no. That would be why.
Have you got unlimited
restarting
data?
a modem, so
Unlimited data?
I've got enough. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, okay. And you said you're rebooting the modem?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I might go off again for like a minute, but
Yeah. While you are switching back. Yeah, no problem. Okay, cool. So this is what ends up happening, Jake. What you end up seeing, because you do have the ability to see invisibility, is you actually notice on a rooftop nearby, there is in fact somebody on a roof. Like, so you're there, you're, standing appropriately, as you need to or whatever, looking ahead at what's going on, watching all this stuff, so on and so forth. But then, you're just looking around as, again, expected. At some point in time, you just gotta give like a quick look backwards. And by sheer coincidence, as you give that quick look backwards, you notice that there is in fact a movement up on that top. like you look backwards, you look up there, and you definitely see the silhouette. Like it's almost like if you were to see somebody walking there, but they took opacity and dropped it down to 20. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of like see somebody that's there, but like you can also see the sky behind them. You know what I mean? You can see somebody moving there. No doubt in your mind.
Force Ghost style.
You can absolutely see that that up there. At the same time that you're over there looking at that, Tash with his stealth, you're moving along, and you can see that once again, you're keeping pace with them and keeping pace with the carriage, trying to make sure that everything's fine, looking down below, everything's working out well, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that you notice as that carriage is moving forward is that the something about the ground over in that area it's like you didn't notice it before. If you're walking on the ground, you would never notice. And beforehand, when you were on the roofs and sneaking about, your focus was ahead. You were trying to see everything up ahead. But now that you're on the roofs here, once again, you're just kind of like slinking on the roofs and you're looking down. It's like as you're looking down there, you're like, this is really weird. It's almost like if you're
Please don't break,
in real, it's almost like in real life, like you see sometimes like a piece of the pavement was cut out and clearly replaced, but you know, like a while ago, so it's not too obvious. But you see like almost like a seam in the ground. You're looking down, and you're like, looks like there's like the ground just seems off in a little area just ahead of where the carriage is. It seems just a little off. You're not entirely sure what the hell it is. And around the same time that that's happening, Neil, one of the things you're noticing is that one of the mages that are there with you, not one of the ones that you know, again, another gnome, because most of them are gnomes, they're there. And you actually notice that as they're different ones are doing different rituals, you can see one of them is kind of like moving their hands almost like a little bit to a beat, almost like they're counting, right? And as the carriage is moving forward, you can see it's just like, that's weird that they're, I don't know, it almost looks like they're counting or waiting for something.
Are they the same color as Gavin?
They are not.
Because color indicates your, like, I would know, it indicates like what you do.
Yeah. So there's the primary and the secondary colors because every mage has two focuses, right? Even if you're like a cleric or whatever it is, when you're the Arcane Congress, every one of them has two focuses, right? So the primary color and then the tassels or like the trim is a secondary color. And don't worry about the colors are, but not the same color, which Abjure would be like a light blue or whatever, right? But so they're not they're not the same color as each other.
I mean, I've noticed this. I find this strange. Can I like trot up next to behind them? I want to put them off. I want to be an intimidating presence. Like I want the shadow to fall across their entire existence.
One of those things where it's almost like a distraction. It's like if somebody casts a spell, a concentration check sort of a thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or you to be within hands who casting a spell provokes an attack of opportunity in real D&D. Called Pathfinder. So you would notice that, Jake, absolutely. You would notice, like, you look up at that. At the same time, you're going to be, like, looking back over it and seeing, like, he's got eyes locked on the back of the one of the gnome's heads and trotting up over to it so because you can see him doing one of these. Like you know? Like, going up to it.
Like behind him, you'd hear like Carrick snort and paw at the ground because he can suddenly sense the agitation of the rider.
Mm-hmm. And
how far away from me specifically are the guards at the front of this carriage and caravan of people?
I imagine you're moving with the front guards, so maybe not the frontest guard, but moving with the guards themselves to try to keep a little bit ahead of the carriage itself. So the frontest guard is probably just 10 feet ahead of you, but way off to the left and way down, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. The distance is important because I want to, like, if they're within missive range.
How far?
It is missive is 25. Actually, I can just click on crystal. It's 25 feet.
Plus 5 foot per level?
Plus 5 foot for a level, but I think 30 feet is what it is. I've just realized that once again we've fallen into the trap where it doesn't link to missive on the thing. Here we go. Sorry, I should have gotten this up beforehand. Yeah, 25 plus 5 foot per 2 levels. So I think 25 feet, unfortunately, is what it is.
Are we not
25
level
feet.
4?
Yeah, but my it's manifest. It counts as manifest to level 1, I believe. Oh no, equal class level. I'm wrong. 35 feet.
I was gonna say that should be a range that you can hit the front guard. So what do you say?
I would
It's a
say
one-way
the
message into their
distance-
brain.
Yeah, so the distance to this spot on the ground, how far would it be?
From that person?
Yeah.
From that person, less than 30 feet.
Okay, so I would say
And again, you're not in combat, so
25?
people aren't like running. People are marching, so it's very slow. But yeah.
I just want to give him a distance to it, so like 20 to 25.
Yeah, you can say that, sure. I said it's 30
Yeah.
feet, but 20, 25 works.
Okay, I'll say 25 feet. 25 feet in front of you, the ground. It's disturbed.
So you can see that the guard that's doing that is visibly like what the hell was that? And so the guards behind them, one of them just kind of quickly like hits him with a weapon, like, you okay? And you could even see that the mage ahead of that guard, it kind of gives, you can barely, because there's like cheering and whatnot happening, so you can't really hear anything, but you can even see like there's like a very sharp look, and they clearly said something very sharp to the guard that's ahead of them. And the guard tries to straighten their back and continue marching, and they march slowly, right? But does say something back, like says something to one of the other guards, who says something to the mage. And the mage responds back. Tesh, you can go ahead and roll me a sense motive.
Ooh, okay. Ooh.
Roll me a 1d8 plus appropriate modifier for sense motive. Neil, go ahead and roll me a sense motive.
Sense motive?
Well, no,
Mhm.
they're done. I want to act as well.
You tell me what, sir.
Can I not intimidate this bastard, or is this something separate to that?
Oh, it's trying to read them to see what the hell they're doing. You're absolutely laying down an intimidation on them. That's an automatic success.
Okay.
Ooh. Nice.
Nice. AC is sus.
Jake, what are you doing, sir?
Around where I am, because I can see this invisible person on the roof. Are there guards or like who is in charge where we are?
So of the group that you happen to be in, like the medical people.
Yeah, I'm looking more towards the nearest military person in charge. That's in charge of either whether it be a group of soldiers or someone with authority that's close by.
Yeah. So for you personally, because like everybody's in their own little groups that they're put into, right? So for you personally, you're going to be the ones that are overseeing the what the hell is it called? The medical people, right? That's going to be who's there with you. So I'm just trying to find where I have my goddamn ranks listed. Is it kingdom character? Yeah, it's kingdom characters. There it is. So for some reason, I always scroll past it way too quickly. So you're going to have with you, because of what you're overseeing, these are all some big names. So overseeing the medical area, you're going to have a Centurion of War that is overseeing the medical area. So a COW is going to be there with you.
Okay, you would see Viggo would walk up to him briskly. He wouldn't run, but he'll walk up to him straight away.
Yep, it's
And he'll,
it's probably about a good 11 paces, nothing crazy.
Yeah. And then he'll say, "There's somebody invisible on the roof up there." And then he'll take out of his pocket a potion of see invisibility. He hands it
Mm-hmm.
to him. He says, "This will help you to see."
They look at you suspiciously for a quick moment, because you can clearly tell as you disturb them, they were about to be like back in line. But again, they look at you suspiciously for a moment. But remember that you were put there specifically by the Master of
MOW.
War, and that this
Yep.
is the person that was told to just give you orders directly from the Master of War. So they take the potion and they drink it, and they're going to look up into the area as well. Jake, go ahead and roll for me a 1d8 plus intelligence modifier. Sorry. 1d4 plus intelligence modifier.
I'm so perturbed that this character is going to go onto this block of land and that it's just going to do the flipperoo.
I've pressed it. It just says rolling dice. I don't know whether my internet is working.
It's done it.
Oh, there it is. Ooh, nice.
Nice.
So, not quite a 32. Those are two separate group checks.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine. But what happens is he drinks the potion. He looks up there and he says, he's looking up there and he looks at them and he goes, in the name of Dark Eyes, if only I could handle it now. He gestures up at the top, for you to look up there as well. You look up there and you can see the person that's on that area is definitely looking down and notices you two looking up at them. And he goes, that's no ally. They're from what?
I just want the lightning bolt ones and fireball ones to come out.
That's no ally. They're from Amolto. You can see. They're here watching. They're here trying to find out who the AC is as well. But there's no danger in them. And there's nothing we could do without being too overt. We'll leave it be for now. But good eyes. Good eyes. And he will then as you're like kind of dismiss a step back, he actually will call out to you again and say, Viggo, that's your name, right?
Yes, sir.
Better yet, go back into the building with the medical supplies. I believe there's a roof access at the top of that, on the top floor. Maybe you should go and engage with this person.
Yeah,
Just
maybe
make
it'd be your
sure.
third time meeting them.
Just make sure.
He wants me to go up to the roof.
Yep.
I'm not a
Go talk to him.
combatant. The fuck am I supposed to do? Get thrown off the roof?
Well, according to them, this isn't a combatant either.
Jake,
All right, yeah.
I'm just
I'll
gonna-
say yes, sir.
I'm just going to reference what you said earlier. Pussy boy, I believe it was. Was that the quote?
I'm still doing it. Thank you. I follow orders.
It's fine. It's fine. She's you're already acquainted. She won't throw you off the building. You get on well. She likes you.
All right, well, yeah, I will do what he says.
Tesh, for you. So you're gonna turn and you're gonna start walking back normally, back towards where you got your medical supplies from. Nothing
What?
strange.
Wait, hang
happening
on,
there.
what?
Not you.
Viggo.
So
You
Tesh,
said the wrong name.
what you're
Gotcha.
doing is you are watching with your 27 sense motive. You're looking. You can see that you can't hear what they said. You can't lip read what they said, right? But you can clearly tell by the demeanor of the mage and the way that the others reacted to it that it must have been expected or known, or they just don't give a fuck about what it is that's ahead of them. And they tell them more or less, ignore it, keep marching, is more or less what you get or you read off of it. Like everything's fine. And again, not one of those like they're being dumb and bullheaded, but like they're genuinely not concerned. They genuinely don't believe that this is a concern at all. They're aware of it. Move on. How you choose to interpret that, of course, is up to you. But the AC person tells them, ignore it, keep moving. Neil, you did not add anything to the group here, but the group did succeed without you. And as you're rolling up behind them, you clearly intimidate them, and they look back at you for a quick second, and they look forward, and they're concentrating, and they look back at you again. They go, "Oh, piss off! I'm doing something!" And you can see that they're concentrating and all holding their hand out now and canting on something.
I can see that. I was wondering what.
He says, "Unless you want a scene, back the fuck off." And the other two like people so 5 total, 2 on either side of the gnome that's talking to you. Also now somewhat distracted, look back to see what the hell's going on. Like they're a little distracted, and none of them are Galvin at this point, unfortunately. But you can see that whatever he's doing, it seems to be planned. Like you're getting the impression now the people around him expect it as well.
Cool.
So you guys let it play out, I imagine, Tesh?
Yeah, I was still keeping pace, but yeah, I'd let it play out, and I'd be waiting for the moment one person steps on that spot. be ready for it.
They step on the spot. The rest of the soldiers do as well. As does somebody's throwing stuff at Tesh, and he's trying to like.
Yeah, there's a fucking mosquito.
Mosquitoes here are dead now. So hibernating. So sorry, what was I saying to you? So you see that then all of a sudden the carriage goes on to this bit of ground as well. With that super high perception check you got before, you could even see the ground ever so slightly shift just a little bit. But nothing happens. The guards that are in front of the carriage, most of them start to go to the back of the carriage. There's still a few of the guards stay to the front. Mage stays to the front. There's the soldiers on either side that pushed the people wider so the carriage can come through. And the carriage continues moving forward. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I want to missive a guard that looks like he's sort of like one of the more important ones next to the carriage, like right next to it. I'm just going to missive check in the carriage.
Not the same guard?
Not the same guard. A different one.
You're gonna like look around once again, like surprised. And they'll actually take like a couple steps out of line and step up to whoever their commander is. And you can see they're whispering
That
something to
works.
that commander, right? And the commander like looks back at them. They give him like a nod. As the commander. It's one of those moments where you have to decide, do I check for safety
Yeah.
and potentially get in a lot of trouble? Or do I like let it ride? Because it seems a little crazy. You know what I mean? It's one of those things like, I know I'm not supposed to go in that room, but I think
see
there
him
might be
waning-
danger in that room. No.
If I see him...
Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. Sorry, go on.
No,
I was
go
going to
ahead.
say, if I see him waning and it looks like he's not going to do it, I'll send the same message to him.
No. Missive, if I remember correctly, costs you a PowerPoint unless you expend Sonic Focus.
Not for me, because of Crystal. The whole point is I can use it as a power. Where's the exact wording?
Yes, it's
It's a psi-like ability.
Oh, never mind. My apologies.
Yeah, so I can just keep using it.
Okay, you use that one as well. And thank you for clarifying. You use that one as well. And as he looks around, worried as well, he looks back at that guard who, like, there's that like knowing look, like you're hearing voices too, right? Like phasmophobia. You heard that. And so he takes a step up because it's like a step up onto like the platform that you'd go to get to the door. And there's that moment where they put their hand on the knob on the nozzle, and there's like all the other guards around are like looking up at them, and you can even see, even though that's the commander that's around, a couple of the guards even tilt their spears towards them, like, what the fuck is this guard doing? So they step up, they put their hand on the thing, like, they turn it and they open it and they lean inwards. They keep their head in there for about 6 or so seconds. And they pull their head back out, close the door, very mechanically go over and just stand in line and keep walking. And you're watching this as they're making their way through the line of people at the guards on either side. And they look back at the other guard and they're like,
Oh, good. He's okay. All right, that's fine. That's the important part. Whoever it is okay. I was worried someone jumped in the bottom of the like slid a thing and it went into the carriage, sort of thing, or pulled someone out of the carriage.
And so they make their way through the center area, They make their way through the center area and finally come up to right in front of where the Arcane Congress members are. Arcane Congress members now for you, Neil. You were aware of this. They're going to crescent like half moon. So it's not going to be a perfect 180 around it with the 36 members. It's going to be more like a like 140 degrees around the carriage is where they're going to like line themselves across, right? And your job is literally to pace back and forth behind them. That is what you were given the orders to do that, and so you're
It's
free
okay
to
though,
do
because
so.
Carrot can prance, so he looks good while doing it.
Looks good and intimidating at the same time.
So anyways, the carriage comes to a stop, and it the horses that are pulling the carriage turn the carriage sideways. The carriage is then like left there, and you can actually see that this is like again a bit of ceremonial stuff happening. You can see that the various guards that were holding open the area now 2 by 2 because they were there. They kind of like almost like you're imagining like some sort of like a wedding. Sometimes you'll see the people along either lines like grab their partner, they'll like dance down the aisle, and they'll come through. So 2 by 2, like 2 of them will come in, and they start walking through the whole alleyway. 2 come in, start walking through the whole alleyway, and you can see the entire like split that was put into the crowd starting to kind of close in on itself as all the guards come back through, and once again the barricades and whatnot are put back into place. Jake, during that whole time, which takes a while, you go back inside. You're inside a room here that has all sorts of different supplies and whatnot here. Lots of different medical supplies that would be needed as needed. Is there anything you care to like look for or look through, whatever it is, to see like if you need to grab something last second before you go up? You're like, no, I need to get up there ASAP, and you just like start looping up the stairs.
First I'm going to give a once over to see if anything's been, messed with.
Touch? Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. It's gonna be a perception check. I'm gonna set the DC high because I imagine you're doing this quickly.
Yeah.
Happy with it?
Yep.
Okay. You don't see anything out of place. Everything seems perfectly fine. And so, do you start like walking up the stairs or like looping up them, like going quickly?
I am going to take an invisibility potion of my own.
All right. It only lasts a minute, so I imagine you do so right before you get to the roof.
No, it doesn't last a minute. It lasts.
Oh,
4 minutes.
you made it?
Yeah. It
Okay,
doesn't.
last bonus.
Either if I don't think I even have to have made it. It's any potion I drink acts as my class level.
Is that a discovery that you have?
Discovery.
Bro, that's sexy.
Yeah. Any. Yeah.
That is so sexy.
Yeah. Wait till it gets paired with
That's
extended.
insane.
It's so good because you buy potions like a first level potion for only 50 gold, and it has the same value as if it costs like what 200 gold at this level. At next level 2,500.
Yeah.
Sorry, 250 gold. Like that is so
Yeah.
useful. Cool. It also means that when you make potions, you make them as cheap as possible, and they have full effect as though you cast them. It's sexy. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So you quaff this potion. It's one of those things too where you don't just like drink a potion. You take the potion and you like shake it up in a certain way to like really activate the what are they called? The ingredients inside there, like whatever the active ingredients are. You like shake it up really bad to get them like really activated. As you like pop the potion, I imagine, because again you're a vivisectionalist, you almost like bite your tongue or cheek or whatever it is. So as you drink the potion, it mixes with your blood in such a way that like really hits you hard and strong, and then has this like almost like slowed down what's the word I'm looking for here? My apologies.
Burn.
Yeah, slow burn, but my brain is metabolism. Like you metabolize it a little bit slower afterwards. So your body digests a little bit slower afterwards. And so you like get this thing ready and you like bite the tongue and quaff the potion. You start walking the way up the stairs, looking at your hand as you go, and you see that you turn invisible. You finish jogging your way up the stairs to get to where the hatch is. So the hatch is going to be one of those, classically.
I mean, I've just seen invisibility. Wouldn't I just see myself anyway?
Yeah, you just see yourself go opaque.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just before I get up to the roof too, there's another one that's down the hatch, and that is Pass Without Trace.
Oh, cool. So like you get up there, and then last thing you do before you go walking onto the roof is you same thing, quaff that back and get
Yep.
that going. Awesome. So then you're going to go up to the actual hatch itself. Unfortunately, the hatch is a hatch, so that will be noticeably open. But you can go ahead and roll a stealth check to try to open that hatch as quietly as possible. The invisibility potion and
stealth.
pass without trace do not enhance this.
Yeah.
Must have been the wind.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. 7.
Ooh,
The hatch opens.
that's okay. It's like waiting for someone else.
I like the idea that you go to open it slowly, and it's not creaking or anything because you're doing it slowly. Literally, like a gust of wind just rips out of your hand, and it's just, all right.
Yeah.
The thing flops open, and you sit there for a second, like shit. Do you choose to just go out immediately since you're invisible anyways, or do you choose to like wait a minute, or what do you do?
No, I'm gonna stick my head out anyway. If this person attacks me, it's a scene. Yeah. So I will stick my head out. I know where she was. I don't know. Oh, they were.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Ooh.
All right. A beautiful perception check. You can see somebody in the same spot that was there before, across the way, still invisible. But you can see them. Still invisible. They're looking down off the way they were. However, they did stand up and turn backwards, and they're looking back towards that hatch. You can see as they stood up and they turned backwards, they definitely drew from their waistline a wand. Like that, you could see, as you're poking your head out, you can see they're slowly drawing a wand out because that thing made a loud noise, and they're looking back that way to see what the hell it was. They turn back and they're starting to walk back over there a little bit, just try to see what the hell that noise was to see if they're alone on this roof or not. In doing so, you can actually see that the person that's walking over, now you can see it. Now you can see what's going on. They're definitely wearing like clothes that would be accustomed to somebody that's a finer dressed person out of Malta. You can definitely tell by like the fancier clothing and the style of clothes that they're wearing. They are gentlemen, slender, and what is it? I believe human is what they look like to you.
Okay. Well, I will get out of the hatch. I'll climb out of it.
This time you roll a stealth check. This time it is with all of your modifiers for pass without trace and
Yeah, I don't know what those modifiers are, to be honest.
So
Invisibility
plus
should be
40.
20.
Yeah, something like that. How much pass without trace gives you plus 20?
I don't think pass without
Pass
trace
without
gives you
trace
anything.
Gives you anything.
It's
just,
not the
like,
same as the
you just
5e1.
Not leaving
Oh,
any
does it
tracks
not?
or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
It's yeah, when you're playing what's that show with Ghost? People aren't like, huh? Because they saw your tracks in the snow. That game. Solid Snake. I said Ghost, I meant Snake. Solid Snake. Metal Gear Solid. Damn it. Give me a minute.
Holy fucking nice.
Bootyful. That is full of booty right there. So you I wasn't talking about you. Huh. What's up?
This is going surprisingly well so far.
I can't help but
Interesting.
wonder
Like the
what happened
things
on that
where-
patch of ground. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I definitely am wondering that as well.
As a player, I obviously I have no idea. I'm not worried. Oh, sorry, as a character, but as a player, I'm like, that's sus. Like, that was either a good thing, like they checked, or that was a switcheroo.
Yeah, so
And there's now a person who looks like the previous prince or the prince. No one knows who the prince is as well. Like,
well, the guards probably would have. That guard would have
Oh,
known if the person got switcherooed.
On the
No,
other hand,
you're
though,
right.
it could have been a marker, though. You know what I mean? To let, like, once they reach a certain point, then that's
could.
when, you know.
The key thing I
could all
learned,
just be part of the plan.
yeah, the key thing I learned from that is that the mage knew about that in particular. So if things go down, I know that mage is involved.
Okay.
So
So
that's the key thing.
So you get to the top there. This is all still happening while everything else down there is having this big ceremony. Like I said, the carriage is turned and so on and so forth. This is while all the people walking forward. So Jake, you're happening simultaneously. Well, that is because you're moving a lot quicker. They're moving very slowly. It's very ceremonial. Back to you. So you get your way up there and you kind of like clamber out of the way. So as they make their way over and they look at it, they're looking at the fact that it's open, looking down inside of it. And so then they are going to slowly crouch down and again, wand still in one hand, look about the area, grab the door and slowly kind of go and replace it. So it's shut again. Then they're going to stand up and look about and say, "Who are you?" "I'm no fool." You think I'm? Sorry. "I'm no fool. I don't think I'm the only one here capable of this kind of magic." Are we going to play it that way then?
What language is he speaking?
Speaking Perrin, but to be fair, that's the common tongue. Definitely has a Maltese accent.
Yeah. Is a Maltese? Do they speak Tasian or do they speak
Tasian.
Maltese? Is that a language?
Tasian.
Right. I was told to go and talk to this guy, right?
To make sure that they're not a danger. Yep.
Yeah. Viggo, while walking, silently as he can, he'll say in Tasian, "Come to see who the new prince is as well."
And when you say that, roll me a sense motive.
Ooh.
They had said 3 lines before you said anything. There was a small part of their mind that was kind of like, must have been the wind. So when you speak, it's not like they're because they were kind of expecting it. They were openly talking about it, but you did actually catch them off guard a little bit. There's like a slight moment, like their eyes move up, just like they jump just a little bit. Like there's a slight startle that happens there, not like a, but definitely a little startle that happens there, right? So you are you say that line or whatever, and so there's that little startle, and they stand up and they turn their body towards whichever direction the voice came from. Clearly, they can't see you specifically.
Yeah.
And they say, "Indeed, it is my responsibility to know who holds the powers in the region."
Just an observer then, as he circles.
And so he hears the voice kind of moving. So you can see just the way that they place like one foot behind the other, and they turn with like the moving voice. You can just tell. Actually, go ahead and roll me a Bab check is the word I want to say.
Nearly got free info. Nearly.
I always have to catch myself with that.
Yeah. You get into descriptive mode.
Yeah, I know. And Tesha's like, "Everybody shut up."
Yeah.
What? You can't just click Bab?
No, unfortunately, it's very rare for Bab checks to exist in most campaigns. By the way, hey, Shinny. Hey, girl. Months into your new
Ooh.
job now. At this point, you can't even call it a new job anymore. Is it still treating you as well as you were hoping it would? Has the charm worn off, or are you still loving it? Like McDonald's style. Sorry. O'Neill? Ba 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 ba. Go to work. So good for you. Absolutely. Bonuses and free stuff. Good for you, Shitty. That's badass. You crush it, girl. Get it. Get it. Ain't nobody gonna get it for you. You gotta get it yourself. So with your 15 on the Bab check, you get the impression this person is definitely a trained combatant. Like they definitely, like the way that they put one foot behind the other and turns, this gives you the impression of somebody that knows how to fence. You know, somebody that's been properly trained. Also the way that they're dressing, the way that they speak and whatnot, you expect this to be somebody of some degree of noble birth. anyways, or at least had similar like that kind of training. So you start doing the semicircling, and what was the line you had said again? I'm sorry, sir. Or the closest thing you can get to it.
Just an observer, I think. Like questioning, just an observer. Then
You already responded to that. It's my responsibility to know what the
oh, that's
what
right.
the power in this region.
No, because
No,
I said something to him beforehand, and then he said that, and I said just an observer. Then.
Oh, my
Yeah.
apologies.
Yeah.
He nods and says, "I am not so foolish as to believe that I'm either alone or that alone I can have any degree of impact worth noting here. Perhaps just to expose a few flaws in their plan, but then die what? To make their defenses better? That'd be foolish. Besides, diplomacy tends to go a long way, doesn't it?"
Well, you have been observed.
Surely
Surely you'll be returning to sight soon enough.
they'll actually smile, and you can see the smile and say, "You believe so?"
Please educate me.
My magic isn't that weak, my friend.
He's a
Interesting.
magister.
Varix will. I mean, if he's observing, like, I'm not going to cause a scene, and I'm not a combatant, so I'll just, observe.
So does he say anything else or no?
When he says that, he just says educate him, and he says that, and he'll just let that go, and just like position himself where he has a decent.
So he gets
position.
creepy, quiet, and invisible.
Is the conversation over?
He'll let a good 10 seconds.
I told you I
or
didn't
so-
want to. Didn't want to get thrown off the roof. All right.
He'll let a good 10 seconds or so pass of you quietly standing there, and he says, "The prickling feeling in the back of my neck suggests that you haven't suddenly vanished. You have just fallen silent. I am here to observe, as we've already discussed. I expect that your disturbing of that has come to a close. I'd wish not to have any more of a scene, and I don't believe that you, who has used such valuable assets to discover me, are going to be considered so expendable as to throw your life away just to attack me. So I'm going to go back to observing, and you do what you feel is necessary. But know that I'm capable. Very capable."
See how
Eric's
capable you
opens
are
the
when you're
hatch.
falling 80 feet down a building, you dump. Splot.
Yeah. Varix opens the hatch and then just takes a couple steps to the side,
And closes it.
and he just waits. No, he doesn't close it. He leaves
Alright.
it open.
Do you perhaps mean Viggo does this?
Who did I say?
Oh, he said Varix. Varix opens the hatch, gets his fork and knife.
Rips the hatch off.
Yeah. So he watches the hatch. He looks out in the area for a little bit, kind of like scanning it, trying to see where you are. Again, he'll give it a little bit of a smile. Then he'll turn, kind of like chuckling a little bit to himself, and he'll start carefully walking back towards the edge, but not anywhere near as close to it as he was before. Like definitely a couple more foot gap between A and B. So, and he'll crouch low, whereas beforehand he was standing, and he'll watch from here to see what he can see. And this kind of catches us pretty much in line for what was happening down below. Where do you position yourself? Are you going to go watch as well, or do you like sit on their lap and cuddle with them? Like, what's the plan?
I'm definitely not standing next to him to get pushed off.
There's nothing
But I
next
do
to
want
them.
to see what's going on.
He's gonna be at the corner of the building, so we can see out that way and out that way. Okay. Tesh, you're a little distracted, so you're gonna be rolling a perception check with a -5.
Okay. -5. That's not too bad. I'm gonna luck that, considering this is a -5, which makes me think That's something I need to notice. Oh, fuck yeah!
Across the way, as all this thing's playing out, and you're watching, trying to keep a keen eye as to what's going down below. At one point in time, you're looking down below, and you're just kind of like almost laughing to yourself at the ceremonial way that they do stuff down there. There's all stuff that you never had to deal with, you never had to learn, because A, you're not like that kind of guard. You're not like a royal guard sort of a thing.
Yeah.
You're just like a regular soldier. But also B, your job description is very different from say Tristan's. Who Tristan? You can even look down at Tristan. You watch him like brisk walking, and you're like, I want to make fun of him, but that is quite a majestic beast. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah.
Carrick, I'd tap that. I'd tap that True Blue style. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That was not where I thought that was going.
yeah. Neither the Carrick, but hey, that's where it is. So, anyways, the
Bad Scott.
as you're looking down there, and at one point in time, you're kind of like chuckling to yourself at the way Tristan's kind of sitting there all pressed up, and definitely he probably even has duck face going on to make sure he looks good on the horse.
He's got a helmet on.
Yeah. Gonna make sure those cheekbones pop. So, so you are watching. My apologies. So you're watching this. At one point in time, as you're chuckling to yourself, letting your like head kind of like roll out, look the other way. All of a sudden, you see a hatch door open on the roof across the way. And you're like, that was weird. So you look for a while to see if anybody goes on the roof or anything's over there. No, there's nothing.
It's the two invisible people. Yeah.
There's nothing over there. And so right as you're like, that was really weird, but there's nothing there anyway, so I'm sure it closes. And you're like, whoa. Okay. I know I see nobody over there. I know I saw that door. I'm pretty sure I saw it open. I definitely saw it close. And it wasn't one of those, like, the wind was like, like it was like a.
Interesting.
Yeah, these doors are heavy. You're on a roof.
Yeah.
You've handled these doors. They're heavy. Like the wind's not gonna just move this. It's made out of metal.
Okay, so Galen would move himself to a position where he can see the roof very clearly. It's not easy to get on that. This is the roof of the Prince's House building, right?
No. This is so if there's a street going up, you're on this side of the street. It's on this side of the street. The street going up to.
I'm literally on the other side of the street.
It's a 30-foot gap.
Then what I would do is I would just position myself where I can clearly see the roof and just sort of scan it for any sort of slight movement or anything before I go back to.
So how long do you want to scan it? Sorry.
So what I would do is I would give it a proper look over, but then I would have to do one of those things where I file it as pay attention to that, but need to also look at other stuff. So I've noted that area. If every now and then make sure I look at it again, nothing's changed, back down to what I was doing, that sort of thing.
Occasionally you look over there, you're watching there, a little bit of time passes, maybe like a minute and a half, and the door opens again. Once again, there's nobody on that roof, and it opens again. So it's the third time of it being handled without anybody handling it.
Third time.
Yep. So it opens.
Okay.
You're sure you saw it, but you're not positive. You watched it closed. You watched it open back up again.
Alexa, play Doom music.
Yeah. I like that. But no, unfortunately, the issue is with it being on the other side of the roof. I just have to make sure that nothing's happening on the roof that I can see, because getting over there is going to be a whole issue.
If you have a running head start, which you could totally get a 10-foot running head start on a roof, it's just a matter of making sure that you can get it comfortable. The jump distance is 30. So therefore, the minimum DC is a 31, because you have to get 31 feet to comfortably make it.
I could probably do it if
Holy
I
shit,
ramp up to speed. I could probably do it if I ramp up to speed. The issue is the risk of falling and the risk of being seen. Because it's one thing to hide on a roof, so one other thing to leap across the entire fucking area.
I mean, granted, you'll be camouflaging with the sky in theory, but yeah.
Still, that's still a thing.
You gotta matrix that jump, like Neo.
Yeah. No, what I'm going to do is just have that be a priority in paying attention. Means I'm probably going to be a little distracted if anything else happens, but Galen would be paying attention to that roof.
Okay. So you're not going to try to make that beautiful jump check.
No, he's not going to try and make the jump. It's too much of a risk for what he see. Something's going on, so he's paying attention, but he's ready to do something if he needs to.
You got a Russian in chat calling you out right now.
No, this is. I'm not risking this. This is too big of a thing for a risk. A Galen wouldn't do it for in this situation. He'd have Bo at ready watching it. So if anything happens, he'll know. But he's not going to jump over.
Okay. Jake, any further interactions with this person? Or?
That would be bad.
No, I don't believe that he's a threat because it is a. I mean, his chances of success if he was trying to assassinate or something is so low, and he's gonna die. So he may be resigned to that, but I don't think so. And the Centurion of War was like just more or less go and investigate it.
Yep.
Like he already knew he was a Maltese spy.
The question I would ask is, have you truly investigated him if you haven't snuck up behind him and sniffed him?
That's a really good question. You got to Joe Biden that. You know what I mean? Treat him like a teenage girl.
Can you imagine how off-putting it is? There's someone invisible on the roof, and then you just hear, like, fucking what?
Remember, he can't smell you, but you can smell him. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, they're wearing perfume. You can smell them.
What's a?
Okay.
I'm a spy. I'm gonna put perfume on. Jesus, dude! Like, come on.
He's a noble. He can't not do it.
I am perfectly invisible. Jesus, why does this room smell like pomegranate? Is that you? No, it's not me. Someone call the guards.
That's awesome. All right. It's a bottle of poo-pourri. So you so yeah, you're just gonna sit up there and observe him observing the down below, and we're gonna leave it at that for now. Cool. The wagon gets turned about face, so it's turned so the door faces towards the people, and as it turns to them, one of the guards is actually going to go over and unhinge the horses from the actual wagon itself, so it sits there. The horses are then going to be led off around the side, around back, behind the area. Neil, you're watching the horses going, red to perfection. And leaving behind just the carriage that's sitting there. Then one of the
unlike Scott, my character likes breeding.
One of the as you happen to be walking by Galvin, as you're walking by Galvin, he's gonna kind of look up at you. Your internet got all wonky now. Yeah, you're back now.
No.
He says he looks up at you and he goes.
Tss.
To get your attention, and as you kind of like look down to him, he goes, "It's planned to make sure like you don't react to what happens next." One of the Arcane Congress members is going to take like 2 steps forward from where they are, and they're going to like raise their hand up in the sky, and you can see fire rain down from the sky into their hands. And it's 2 others, so it's one behind it, and then 2 others, one from either side. They're going to fire, take steps forward, fire raining down from the sky. And they're going to push this, throw this fire forward at the caravan. And the caravan itself is going to completely ignite into flames. So the whole caravan just goes, and it gets from the audience like a whole, from all the people as they're like,
yeah. Jesus, what the?
As you're
like, you want to like warn your guards about something like that.
Got some messed up showmanship, man.
The guards are aware. Neil came in after the fact.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. He's not fully aware of all the plans. So the audience out there is like, And you can see it as the caravan is burning. It's burning down and burning down, burning down. And as the caravan is like literally on fire and starting to like fall apart and crumble around and come off, you can see that the two Arcane Congress members that are at the ends of the semicircle then are going to like pull back their flame that they were shooting at the caravan itself, and they're each going to turn the appropriate angle and going to cast flames over at where the statues are, sitting igniting the
Covers
on top of the statues. And as the covers are starting to fall away, and as the caravan itself is having the top of it kind of like burn and fall off here or collapse inwards and whatnot, the caravan is eventually going to very rapidly burn into what's left behind as just ash, as the covers themselves are burnt, but burnt more naturally. Whereas they burn, the kind of like, ashes that the typical embers or whatever kind of like fall away, leaving behind a little bit of ash on the ground. So it will be a little bit dirty under the statues afterwards there. But where the caravan is, the ash that kind of like is falling behind, where you can see two shapes are inside there. You see one of the shapes, both the shapes kind of like standing up from the seats that they have inside the caravans. And one of the Arcane Congress members are going to reach forward, and they're incanting a spell to make the ash that's on the ground start to swirl and make it almost like a dome. That's obfuscating, once again, who you can see that's there. And then all at once is a gust of wind that goes upwards. Everybody around can feel that little bit of a breeze. Jake, how close to the edge are you?
If you check your DMs there, boy, I'm like in the hatch.
He's like, I'm scared of heights, and then he goes into the hatch. Tesh, how close to the edge are you? This is your perfect time. Jump now. Get that lift.
Whee!
Make sure you hold your skirt out.
You get a double jump.
Yeah. That's nice. Like, woo, woo, yep. Whatever it is. I haven't played Mario in too many years. So, or Mario.
No, when he jumps, it's like Yoshi. He like jumps and then he goes.
Legs just.
Yep.
It's Super Mario Brothers 2, where Peach just grabs the dress and floats across. That's all it is. So, sorry, Neil, you're too young for that reference. So, anyways, a gust of wind goes upwards, blowing up all of the ash and blows it effectively away. Like if it rains down on some people, it's small little flecks. People don't really notice it, right? Also billowing away from the whole area, including the remaining stuff that surrounds the statues themselves, maybe a little bit of ash on the ground beneath them. And at the same time, you're able to see that there are two figures very, very regally adorned in front of you. One of the figures, all of you can identify almost instantly.
It's the Tarumbar.
It's the Tarumbar.
Oh my god.
Standing on the side that they're standing on, the two of them side by side, standing on the side of them, the Tarumbar also happens to have a statue of the Tarumbar standing across the way of them as well. How'd you call that out, Neil? How'd you know?
I got high wisdom. My character might not, but I got gut sense.
Nice.
To be fair, it was only a few seconds before it was teased.
Yeah. But still, either way. So you actually notice that it's the Tarumbar Varima that's standing there. Tarumbar Varima is standing there, and adjacent to Tarumbar Varima, there is a tall, slender Perrin gentleman who is, again, not young, probably in their, like, say, 50s or so. That's standing there, looking outwards. That you can see inside the area, like showcasing who they are, right? Like really showcasing who this individual is. My apologies. Showcasing who this individual is. None of you know them, but you're looking at their regal clothing and everything, the way they're dressed. They definitely have their very parent features, as you can tell, because again, they're a little bit older. Jake, could you go ahead and roll me two things? And I'm only saying Jake because you're the only one that can succeed on this. Go ahead and roll me a royalty check, because I believe you have ranks in that. And go
Nobility.
ahead. What was it? Oh, wait, no, never mind. Stop. Shut him down. Open up shop. No. Oh, no. You're in the hatch like a little hoe. Like you can't see anything. You're actually.
Have I not gotten down the hatch by now?
Oh, you said you're in the hatch. I didn't realize you were going down and walking out and all the way back out of the place.
Yeah, I'm gonna report.
Oh, okay. Well, it just said I'm going back into the hatch. So that you were like turtling in the hatch, like.
No. I can see him from outside.
Okay. So when you finally come back out and look about, you could see them. Go ahead and roll me knowledge ability and
Yeah, I'm not
knowledge-
invisible, by the way. I'm not coming out into the square invisible.
a knowledge arcana check.
Nobility first, then Arcana, was it?
But you still have passed no trace, so if you drop if you like crop dust as you walk, people won't notice.
Okay, good.
Hey, listen, there's versatility to these magics that you got to use. How many times have you been
Holy
at work
fuck.
and been like, I really need to but I don't want to, you know?
Did you see what I put earlier in chat? I was imagining how like a spy just letting one rip
Oh.
would be.
I did not read that. That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
Just everyone in the room's like, what the fuck?
So if it's
Oh.
audible, like a squeaker, like a, you know. Do you want to luck either of these, as Joey is suggesting?
Oh, wow.
Do we really
What do you
need
guys
to?
think?
Do we really need to luck a 1, a 28, 2, a knowledge and ability?
I mean, a 28 is a pretty friggin' high roll.
Yeah.
But you could luck that.
Is that actually
Arcana
a
to try to
third?
press the 20.
Is that actually a 30 because of the +2, or is that not included in this?
Nope, that
I
would
don't-
be a
I
30.
can't
You are
remember.
correct. And the other one's an 18. You are correct. Thank you, sir. Joey played in a Pathfinder campaign for a while where we didn't do the natty ones thing. And he had like a plus like 28 or something like that to stealth. So he'd roll and he didn't care if it was red. He'd be like, you don't see.
I mean, I could break a 20 on the Arcana, possibly.
Do you want
It's
go
up
ahead
to you,
and look
mate.
at it?
Yeah, if you
Yeah, it's
want
up
to,
you.
then
It is both
look,
worth a shot, but I can also understand not wanting to do it.
No, I mean, I you know, there are life-saving rolls that the luck can come in handy for, so I'd prefer
That's
to not
fair.
use it.
Remember now, knowledge is power.
Yes, it is.
We're passing?
Yep.
Fine. So one of the things that you're able to notice by looking at this person, the way that they're dressed, it is extremely regal. It is very much the style of clothing, when it comes to the design, so on and so forth, is very much what is in style for right now in Paradel, higher nobility, so on and so forth. That clearly jumps out. The color, yes, sir.
is he wearing sandals?
Their color choices are a little
That's the
bit.
question we all want answered.
The color choices are a little bit peculiar to you because it definitely doesn't match the season or what the styles are at the moment. So the color choices are a little bit peculiar for what you would expect. But whereas, of course, the Turumbar matches perfectly what you would kind of expect somebody of a fucking Turumbar. You know, literally one of the 3 highest rulers of all of Paradel would be kind of like wearing or adorned with, so on and so forth. Kind of is in line. This one, the colors seem a little bit off, which is a little bit strange to you, but not the end of the world. But to answer Neil's question, even though the Turumbar is dressed very fashionably, the other one, they're wearing robes, so you don't notice it at first. You notice it after they start walking. But yes, the Turumbar is wearing shoes, like fancy shoes. Because only one of the statues had sandals, I believe. Yeah. The new prince is absolutely wearing sandals. Abso-friggin-lutely 100% wearing sandals.
You gave that guy good advice.
Business is booming, boys.
We should have invested.
Yeah.
That's the real secret of Malta wanted to know.
So anyways, yeah, that's it. Oh, they stole our summer outfit. They wore it in the spring. No, anyways, yeah, they're standing there looking very regal. You have absolutely no clue who this individual is. Not even the slightest bit. And now it gets to the point where the crowd is kind of like, you know, coaxed into silence. And you get to hear the actual Turumbar themselves speaking. Again, very, very rare that such a thing would happen. Do you guys remember much about Trumbar Varima by the name of Zilgra Fajon? Or no?
She's the Tarumbar of magic.
Okay, cool. So anyways, Zilgra Fajon is their name, but you would have just called them Trumbar Varima, right? Or Trumbar or Varima, depending on your situation with them. Moving on. Varima would speak up. Varima has a voice that makes sense. There, people of Jovincia and across all of Peridel, I am happy this day to announce to all of you who will be the new prince, the new Yavin here, in a new time, a new era of prosperity, victory, and above all else, arcane knowledge and development. Dear good people of Jovincia, I wish you all to meet for the first time. Last time known purely as Mayviel Darkmane of the long-standing Darkmane family. Very well respected in the capital of Peridel, and henceforward known as the Yavin Heir, Prince Darkmane of Jovincia. And, of course, there's like cheers and clapping and excitement and blah, 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 blah. You do know the Darkmane family. You absolutely know that name. Jake? Also coming from noble birth and where you come from. The Darkmane family actually is a wealthy family that has lived in amongst the Perrin for a long while. But they've always been in favor, they've kind of dropped off. Like the Darkmane family some time ago, whatever, you honestly don't know all the details about it because you know the history of every family. But you know that they're like, they went from like nobility, like wealth and whatnot, to like,
Interesting.
Most of the family, you're pretty sure don't really even live in Peridel anymore. Most of them have gone elsewhere to find, just like a Metahina would, to find like their mark where they can make it elsewhere with whatever riches they can kind of like steal from the family as they go. Like, that's mine. And then go off somewhere else to build a name for themselves. So they've kind of like spread throughout Eroth trying to make names for themselves. That's kind of like all you certainly don't know who this Mayviel is. They've never heard that name before, that of no significance to you. But what you do know is that the prominence of the Darkmane family has certainly dropped off, and the estate of the Darkmane family, while being in one of the nicer districts, is one of those like the worst house in the best neighborhood. Which, by the way, is one of the best situations if you're ever trying to like flip a house. Best way to go for it. Worst house, best neighborhood. You just like spit shine that place and you sell for more than you bought it, right? Anyways, that's kind of like what you know of the Darkmane family. You definitely wouldn't have known them by sight because, again, you don't know anything about them. If you saw the crest, you would have, but they're too far, right? Anyways, as the cheers and the clapping and whatnot go down, Yavin here has been given this incredible opportunity to show the people of Peridel, nay, to lead the people of Peridel to incredible victory. For too long have our western borders been questioned by those who are inferior by far and in many ways to the cultured and prestigious life that we provide here in Peridel. Soon, very soon, we'll be given each one of them their opportunity, their inclime. Cheers, claps, and whatnot happen about. A Malta, they say, and they allow the name to like to like linger for a moment, which of course cues the crowd to like boos and hisses and whatnot that come off of them. A Malta will be a problem no more. There's strategies in place, led by Mayville, by the Yarvin here, and by, of course, yours truly, to ensure that this ice wall is nothing but a novelty to provide refreshments in the heat of the summer's sun. Laughs and cheers and whatnot happen from the audience as they allow once again to kind of like
shit.
linger there. I will now turn my attention and urge each one of you to turn yours to the Yarvin here to meet your new leader as they lead you into a new era. The people once again cheering and clapping and whatnot before finally it kind of works its way down. The Yarvin here will take a half step forward, certainly not wanting to stand ahead of the Trumbar. They'll step forward and they'll call out, people of Jovincia. Our history is relatively short-lived compared to much of the rest of Paradel. We're a young, fledgling province. But that doesn't mean that we don't have great importance and have a strong spirit. And, while newly formed, a deep history that we hold true to each one of us. Many of you here were able to become citizens of Jovincia merely because you were born in Paradel, or because you trekked the dangerous journey across all of Eroth as your birthrights to join us as Perrin. But put aside those that had a relatively charmed beginning as becoming citizens of Jovincia. There are the people of Jovincia that have earned this right, that have survived through the difficult times of Climë. They have fought their way on the field of battle, sometimes against their own brethren, or have worked hard, laboring to produce nothing but the greatest of goods, or to provide the greatest support to our soldiers on the front lines, to bring us the victories that we have bring us the victories that we have had up until this day. But those will pale in comparison to what it is that you will do moving forward. It is of a heavy heart that I am going to come forward with a truth, a fact of the past. Many of you love, still to this day and certainly while they were in position, the Yarvin here that served Jovincia before. And they certainly earned your love. But unfortunately, their rulership came with a bit of a dark mark. One that I wish to push into light, because I want you to understand who it is that leads you now. There will be truth. There will be honesty. And laws will be upheld by all in Jovincia. From the top to the bottom. The previous Yarvin here put forward in place many respectable laws about the trading of, I will use the term, slaves, because what can you call it but slave labor? We look to our allies to the west and the way that they treat their, not allies, sorry, to our enemies to the west and the way that they treat their people, forced into slave labor, with little to no chance to earn their own rights. And we offer them in Climë, many of you having served it, and have earned that freedom, and serve now with fealty, with loyalty to all of Paradel because of the opportunity that you were given, that was promised, and that was delivered upon. Unfortunately, the previous Yarvin here has taken a few lucrative opportunities to have certain amounts of paperwork lost. Those that were serving in Climë, having near to the end of their terms, start from the beginning. That ends this day. If any of you here, as my first order, as Prince, to put forward, if any of you here have family, friends, those that you trust and hold dear, that live beyond the lines of war, beyond the national lines as they currently sit, that you wish to pull forward and into Paradel, understand this: the door is open. The pathway is clear. Our soldiers on the front lines will fight day and night, drawing all the blood that they must to give them the opportunities to step behind the lines, to have all the paperwork put in place, and to begin in Climë as they choose. Give them the opportunities that you have. I will provide for you a means of delivering these messages to your loved ones. And there's to that, it's not as uniform, because this was very much a one-sided, like there are many different types of people that live here, but this is very much a one-sided kind of opening they puts there. But there's a lot of cheers and shouts and whatnot that goes inside the crowd, but also to the more perceptive one that's up there. That's you, Tesh, who's literally above the crowd. You swear you even hear a few boos out in the crowd for that one. Like that was like maybe one that's not as appreciated by everybody. Yeah, a little controversial, but nonetheless, that's what the prince puts forward. He says, some believe it's a crime, heresy, to speak ill of the dead. I do not feel that way. I believe it's a crime to lie. And he lets that one kind of like linger for a while. Like a long while. And then he says, but we cannot deny what Haven Yovance did. Paradel offers opportunity to not just any people that happen to live here. It pushes opportunity upon you. Haven Yovance being one of the greatest examples of what makes Paradel as great as it is. Born into his family, become a Metahina, and born again as Haven Yovance, having earned that name. I wish also to make it known to all Metahina across all Paradel. You wish to find a place to earn a name for yourself. You wish to have the courts look upon your pleas favorably and to restore honor to you, to give you an opportunity to start your own legacy. That legacy lies to the west. That legacy lies in the field of battle. We have two enemies, to our north and to our west. They will fall within the next decade. That is my promise to you as Yavin here. And with that, once again, it's like a uniform cheers happen outwards, so on and so forth. With that, there's like a little bit of like fluffery kind of speech and whatnot that happens. But more importantly, you can see that the Arcane Congress that's there then puts on this huge display of magical display that happens afterwards. As the two of them are kind of like raising their hands and waving, they do an appropriate like walk around to the different like fairly close to, but definitely many guards between them and the peoples. Walk around to the three different streets where the peoples are set up to be. In the back area, though, Jake, you may have noticed this when you were on the roof before. Tesh, you would notice it. That line has been brought forward. They walk around to the back area so they can wave to the various peoples that are there. And then the biggest magical display happens just as they're walking into the front doors of the what's it called?
Palace.
Palace. Thank you. God damn it. Words, brain. No. So as they walk into the front door of the palace, huge magical displays, including even, and this is not a small amount of magic, like cast by these high-level casters, fireballs into the air. Now, this is the important thing to note. In Pathfinder, fireballs aren't like 5e where they're just like, they're a fireball. Like, if you're a 10th level caster, it's a 10d6 fireball versus a normal, like, say, a 5d6 fireball, right? Like, these are big balls of fire that are exploding in the air. Some of them that even give off, like, rumbling sounds, like, giving like a thunderous effect that you can feel, like, in your bones as they go off and whatnot. But there's other massive effects happening. Honestly, most of them are illusions, but many of them are not, right? That are kind of giving off this bit of a display.
Every time a
Imagine-
fireball goes off, Alan flinches a little.
PTSD, PDFPD, right? Post-traumatic fireball disorder. So, so anyways, you are immediately before we get into the next skill challenge bit. What is it immediately your character's like thinking, doing, etc., etc.? I just spoke a bunch, so throw it to you.
I'm not sure whether it's appropriate, but Triss would have been cheering.
Okay.
Probably along with most of the crowd. And along with the one where some people possibly booed.
Jan would have definitely been put off given the reveals about the oven here and what he's done for the oven here in the past. But he, so far, is very much liking this new oven here. For the like, that's all about what he, part of the reason why he came here.
Viggo reports back.
Okay. You walk up to
Centurion of War.
it would be very, very quick conversation. Almost like you go up, they kind of
Yeah.
like turn their head to you. He just gives you like a look. He just gives you like a eyes and a nod.
Viggo would just say, the MLT spy knows he's being watched.
Nods and turns their attention. None of the other guards cheer or anything like that because they're supposed to be like stoic. But you know, Tristan, it gets the best of him. So excited.
He's just so taken up.
Yeah, which makes sense. Give me about 1 minute. I'm gonna run and pee real quick. And then we're gonna finish doing this other skill challenge. Okay. So I'll be right back if you guys want to chat.
I'm gonna make a cup of tea.
Yeah, I want to take this opportunity to be right back as well.
Sure. I'll leave the.
I guess we're all taking
I'll
a
just leave
break.
the cams on and mute us.
Very
Look at this.
quick
Ready,
break,
set.
yeah.
There we go. So I got back the artwork from the first campaign, guys. I'm very excited about it. The only reason why I haven't revealed it yet, well, I haven't gotten I've gotten the finished product, but not like the actual files yet, because I'm today giving the artist the other half of the dues for the first 3 characters, but also because one of the characters' skin tone was off. So we're just having that one character's skin tone corrected, and then I'm giving them the other half of what's due to them for the first 3 characters, and I get those images released to me. And I'm also giving them the first half for the next 3 characters, as well as their descriptions today as well. So we're like well on our way. And as I said beforehand, I think I told you guys this beforehand. I made a deal with this artist for a lot of pictures for a certain price. And the way that it's working is so we agreed upon a price for all of the pictures in total. But then as like a sample, I'm doing one campaign, which is 3 images. And then for half up front, half after, a second campaign for 3 images, half up, half after. And then assuming I like those 6 images, we're going boom, all in with the rest of them. So I'm very excited about it because we're getting campaign art is finally starting to come underway. It's so exciting. It's literally been years. So this is very exciting. Neil is just making coffee. So I'm gonna pull it back in to bring these guys back on to the. I'm muted to them, so I'm gonna make it so they can hear me now. We'll get back to it because Neil can hear us with his other headphones. So. All right, guys. So I was just talking to chat. I'm gonna pull you guys back in voice wise. Here we go. All right. So Neil, I know is you making a coffee or a tea?
I'm making a cup of tea, mate.
But you already had coffee.
I'm a Brit.
I mean, don't you know once you go black, you never go back? Like that references coffee.
I don't drink black coffee.
Once you have a hot black coffee,
Yeah.
you never want anything else because it is the greatest beverage you could ever have.
I used to drink black coffee, and then I realized it's trash here. Much like you, Scum.
Yeah, no, I put milk in my coffee.
The best coffee is a cortado.
I have no idea what it is.
It's a shot of espresso with a small amount of heated textured milk. I believe it's a Spanish thing.
That does sound good.
It is.
I have I recently got a filter jug that I put coffee in it. So I have this, I put it in the fridge overnight.
Yeah,
So
you were telling me last week. Cold brew coffee.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I can just have iced coffee whenever the fuck I want. I'm eating pistachios. Nibble food.
Yeah, I ate a bunch of Marmite covered cashews earlier, I'm not gonna lie. I love me some Marmite.
Not a fan, but I can understand. I know a lot of people do like that sort of taste. Not me though.
It makes sense. I mean, you know, I
read a direct study, a study, and there's a direct correlation between weakness and liking Marmite.
I'm sure.
All right. So
You're just making a battle there, Scott.
No. Joey was messaging me, so I was just responding back. Sorry. All right, let's keep going.
Kitty.
So yeah, you guys are so yeah, you guys are witnessing the boom, boom, sparkles and everything else that's happening there. Jake, at one point in time, you look up at that corner to see if that person's there anymore, and either your spell wore off or they're gone.
What spell?
To see invisibility.
Yeah, well, I'll just re-up it.
Well, they're just gone.
Okay.
I was
They got
just
their
trying to
After the,
be. It
speech.
was just trying to be funny,
Yeah.
and it backfired.
So, let's keep going. I'm like a horse with blinders. Focus, focus. I am here. I would totally take Adderall just to focus on my campaigns, but the problem is then I have to deal with it outside of the sessions as well.
So Tarumba and Yevon
yeah.
here are
It went
walking
inside.
towards the door. Yeah.
They went inside of the building as well. At this point in time, there's the rest of the ceremonial displays and fireworks and whatnot. This is what I was referring to beforehand as kind of like the recessional period. The period where things kind of like start to simmer down, tamper down, so on and so forth. Neil, obviously your character is designed to watch after the Arcane Congress people. So as things come to the simmer down and their spells start to exhaust, go ahead and roll me I'll try to perception check.
Nice.
Notice nothing. Eventually, the mages are going to finish with their spell casting. All these casters are going to finish with the spell casting and displays and whatnot that they're doing, and they're eventually going to go.
The one that wasn't casting, it was the gnome from before.
They're going to start bringing their way into the actual prince's palace. In which case, you are too.
Nice.
Tesh, what are you doing up there, Mr. Muted?
Carrick's probably not.
No, character's way out back.
Those characters going directly in, like just the doors open wide, just characters. There's room. No, who cost? He not.
Scanning the crowd, looking for people that are essentially, because this is the point where, for the most part, this is like celebratory. So I'm looking for people that are trying to either move quickly through the crowd or trying to just like the people that are out of place in this celebratory crowd sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. So, my apologies. People that are out of place in the celebratory crowd sort of thing.
But I'm scanning the square basically where everything's happening.
Yep. So, you can go ahead and roll me a sense motive, I guess, then.
Okay. That was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, 18 to 12. That was crazy. So I mean, the only people that look like, if you will, out of place is, you know, that there's guards set down below that are stations to like also be a part of watching and whatnot. You can see that they are clearly like viewing, like they're kind of like moving against the tide, sometimes with it, whatnot.
Yeah.
And at first, like, what the hell are these people doing? It's because they don't actually want to leave. They need a witness. Okay, cool. And that's what you're pretty much getting from there. You can also tell that there are definitely some people down below that look like they're intoxicated.
Yep, fair.
You can also see the sandal merchant is almost out of product. The big smile on their face. They get their assistant with them helping, doling out things.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, they took all the
advice.
advice.
Assistant, yeah.
Amazing.
Good.
Little do you know, those sandals are actually all in disguise Tanglefoot bags. First time they wear them to an outing, everybody gets anchored down, and the army comes riding through and slaughtering them all. That'd be expensive. Expensive sabotage.
Expensive, but probably effective.
But either way, so yeah, you witness that kind of down below. Jake, what are you doing as things are starting to? Your people are making their way back into the medical area as things are kind of like more or less finished up, kind of breaking down.
Stay with my post. That's what I was commanded to do. I return to the medical area.
Okay, so you're gonna stay with the other doctors that are there?
My
Okay.
orders.
You failed out of the check before, right? Yeah, you did. I'm gonna give you a
one.
I'm gonna give you a perception check.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Arcana one, a different one. Are you happy with your 22? Oh, okay.
Oh,
25.
nice.
22 would have heard something. 25, you hear everything. As you're gonna like go back to where you are and you're getting your stuff together inside the building that's down below, there are multiple rooms in there, of course. Like it wasn't originally a medical facility. It was just used as like a impromptu in case it was needed, right? As we had said beforehand, it was confiscated, whatever word you said, commandeered temporarily. So they so what they're doing is they're off to the side. So while you're kind of getting your stuff together, also more or less keeping a lookout, listening as you need to, but at the same time also like getting prepared to leaving yourself because you're expecting that things are pretty much over at this point. You hear a conversation come around the corner. One of the voices you pick up very easily because, you know, the commander's voice is very distinct, or so you had most of your contact with. They're speaking with one of the other doctors that were here that were dressed a bit. I mean, everybody was dressed fairly differently because, you know, even though there's officers and whatnot, they're different types of garb from whatever area that they would come from, whatever background they have. The one that stood as being the strangest that you were not able to succeed on a check from before is actually wearing mostly white robes on them. And she was wearing mostly white robes and whatnot. And while many of the officers and whatnot would have various helmets or like even doctor's masks and whatnot that they would need if need be, she, you know, her face was exposed at the time or whatever. But he's around the corner and he just says, "I just wanted to thank you again for coming by and providing the additional aid. As
Please send my thanks to the slumbering queen. Alexa, play doom music."
I just wanted to thank you again for sending the additional for the additional aid as discussed. It seems as though things went exceedingly well, and I do look forward to having more discussions in the future. Please inform the slumbering queen that I will be heading back to the east in about 2 months' time, and that I do expect to have equal hospitality when I go that way. And you hear the woman respond saying, "Absolutely. Of course, Centaurian. She'd be more than happy to speak with you when finally you come back through the region. In the meanwhile, best of luck with your new prince, and hopefully we can avoid any more regicide." And she then will start walking out of the place. But as she walks out of the place this time, she has now adorned a mask onto her face, where she didn't have one before.
God damn.
Alexa, play The Only Thing They Fear Is You. I love that soundtrack.
Interesting information.
So good.
And so they start making their way out as well. Rip and tear. I don't lie, the Doom soundtrack is pretty awesome.
Oh, it is.
It's so good.
It's funny, Viggo's standing there, but all of a sudden you see this moment, you know, in cameras where sometimes like you see like in horror movies, there's like a person standing there, but then like the camera does this like jump between like two different images. So it like looks like that one person, they're like, huh, and then like, argh. It's like you see Viggo standing there like, huh, then you see Jake standing there like, argh. And then as the Doom music kicks, she walks out, putting her mask on slow motion. As she's walking the door for him, he's just kind of like, boom! Yeah.
I like
He
it.
reaches out, and even though it's Jake standing there, one's axe appears in his hand, and he runs up. He's like, boom! Wearing, no, anyways. So,
Why do I hear
True.
boss music?
anyway, so she goes walking out. Anything else, Viggo? No? Yes? No?
No.
Okay. As you guys are finishing up this last little bit that's going on right here, a little bit later, about an hour and a half later, after a lot of the ceremonial stuff is kind of done and people have been pushed out and walked away, the interesting part is over. There are others still lingering about, so on and so forth. Oh, I have to go back a step. Neil, for you, inside of the Princess area, or Princess Promenade, you would actually be amongst the various people that are there. I need you to roll me a perception check.
Here we go.
Don't fail this time.
Oh!
You actually hear inside there. Oh wait, no. Did you already roll a perception when you went in there? No, you didn't. Did you?
I did it
No.
for the Arcane Congress members outside as they were
Cool.
finishing
Thank
their
A while
casting.
ago, yeah.
So once you go inside there, one of the things that you overhear people talking about amongst the Arcane Congress members is how a lot of them are talking about they're not saying, it's like sometimes they're saying the prince, but a lot of them are talking about Mayviel by first name. Like sometimes they're like, oh, the
Yeah.
prince, but a lot of them are talking about Mayviel by first name. That's one of the things that you hear, and you're just kind of like, this is the prince. I know they're not Perrin, but like they're not Paradel, but
Seems a bit disrespectful on his coronation day.
yeah, to refer to him as Mayviel and not the prince.
Even the Tarumbar didn't do that.
Even the Strumbar didn't do that, right? Out of respect. So, do you say or do anything about this, or do you internalize it?
Oh no, it's like he's like the only one out of that group in Falama, and he just sort of stands there, canapé in hand, not eating, helmet on. No, like that is just internalized. Why would he kick up a fuss? He's already kicked up as much fuss as he thinks is necessary. That would just be unnecessary. This is something to be told to the Dween here. This is an advantage.
Okay. Cool. And so the you would kind of like see this sort of like conversation or whatever happening. At one point in time, the prince would actually come walking into the chamber itself, and so you get to be in the presence of the prince as he comes in to see the various members of the Arcane Congress. The door opens up, and there's that moment that comes across the room where you see as the prince, and you immediately like, you know what I mean? But you kind of like fall in line as is appropriate. And then you look at the different gnomes and the different people in the room. The door opens up, and not as quickly as you, but a few of them actually step up and immediately kind of like fall into a position of respect. And then there are many of them throughout the room that kind of look around. They take that, oh yeah, and they also get into that aligned position of respect and whatnot. And the prince comes in, and it's very cordial. Like it's very the typical kind of like like nobility to subjects kind of cordial, right? Like, I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you individually for the services you provided and effort you put into this this day of mine. I genuinely appreciate it from each one of you. I know that all of you have many duties to return to, and so many of you are going to be returning home. But for the 6 of you that are remaining, I think that it's important that we get plans underway as soon as possible. So we'll be meeting tomorrow morning, take the evening off, and please enjoy yourselves. But we'll be meeting in the morning to start discussing strategies and how it is we can start moving pieces in play. And you can kind of like see that happening and whatnot. And one of them in the back, one of the gnomes, like kind of close to where you are, yells out, "Hey, Mavi! Don't forget to come by sometime." And there's like one of those things where it kind of like looks over at him, and you can see like a little like corner curl of the lip happens. As you know, Gnome's probably older than he is. Gnomes are old as shit, so probably knew him when he was young. But says that and it'll corner of the lip curl, and he says, "I would just like to remind each of the delegates that are here from the Arcane Congress that it is customary to refer to people that hold the title as prince as their title." And it's one of those things where one of the other gnomes nearby looks at him, like shakes their head, like, "Dude," like one of those kind of. He doesn't say "dude," but one of those like, "Don't play that card. That's so rude. Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean?" Like, so it's like one of those moments between them, and eventually says, "Again, I just wanted to thank each of you individually." And there's a moment as he's like looking across the room, and then he notices you, and he sees you standing there, and he says, "Champion."
Chris would salute.
I did notice you during the coronation. I didn't from what I understood, there weren't going to be any additional guards by the Arcane Congress. Yet you sat there, quite noticeable, atop your steed. Who put you in that spot?
The Master of War, sir. Prince.
You are dismissed.
So I like, there's one exit / entrance, and I just have to like awkwardly push past the prince then? Like, well, like, does he move out the way?
There's another door. He used the entrance exit. You're going to use an outer exit. The one that you guys can.
Excuse me.
Is it one of those things that arrow? It's even a little too narrow, so you have to decide. Give him your ass or give him your. Like which way do I?
Tris will salute again and head out. Then,
and you'll head back out. Okay.
Go find the Master of War.
Okay. The master. So if you actually want to find the Master of War, he's going to be inside the prince's estate. So you actually would go out the way that he went, or you can go out the back door and make your way back around the front.
I'll go round the back door and make my way around the front.
Nobody gives you any issues when you go in the front door at all, because they've already seen you. They know you. They know you're welcome here, so on and so forth. You were dismissed by the prince, but out the back door, right? So you walk around the front way, and as you walk around the front way and come in, the guards again immediately lead you in. You can see there's various bits of conversation and whatnot happening, and you already know the new wing is to the right. So, because you didn't know what it was beforehand, that only threw him off base. So you walk in the front door, they're like, here does it no more. You turn and you go through that way, and go in the door and whatnot. You go in, and they will meet with you. And so they'll look at you and say, Champion, why did you leave your post?
The prince dismissed me, Zephyr. I thought it best to follow his orders. I came to make my report after that. And also, I believe you had an invoice for me to give to the BT.
He chuckles for a second and says, indeed I did. Actually, I do have it already drafted for you as well. As a matter of fact, if you're going to be carrying this invoice, do you mind carrying a few other things for me as well?
It depends upon the content, sir, but if I am able and it is safe, I think I would be happy to do so.
You are more than capable, and they are entirely safe documents. And so he'll actually give to you a parcel, and you can tell based off of like the shape of it that there's clearly like books or whatever inside, and they're wrapped up in like a base of like almost like a parchment, and then it's tied off with twine and whatnot. And then at the very top, it goes, and here is your invoice. And he slides like an envelope on top, just under the twine and outside the paper, and says, if you don't mind bringing this to my temporary residence. I'm staying at and he tells you the name, like the fanciest hotel in the region, and tells you that he's going to be at the suite there, because clearly the other building was knocked down like yesterday, right? He's like, if you can deliver this into that location, I would genuinely appreciate it.
Tris can't salute right now because his hands probably have a bundle of books in them. So instead he would nod.
So you go to nod, and he does look and he says, you wear a cape or cloak, don't you?
He has an owlbear cloak, yes.
Yeah. He goes, actually, one more thing as well. And he'll actually go over to one of his drawers. He opens it up, and he grabs out this it's somewhere between like a dagger and a short sword in size. Like, it's almost like a machete and size weapon. He pulls it out and he says, fasten this to your belt on your backside.
May I inquire as to the purpose? He will move to accept. He will begin doing it, but he will ask.
He says, as to the purpose, he says, so you can also bring that to my estate. I imagine you don't want to go walking around carrying a scabbard in hand, especially while your hands are full of either reins or books.
Tris can sense that there's something else here, but he just nods and says, very good, Zephyr.
Okay. And you take it. You, of course, fasten it to the backside of the belt. You grab up the books, and you walk out the front door. It's one of those fun things where You go walking out the front door and roll me one last perception check, sir. And then we're going to have to call the session for the day. Luckily, it's not Neil's last session. Unluckily, it's not Neil's last session. So we'll pick up with this next week. You notice as you're walking out the front door, you're literally walking out the front door holding this stuff, and you can like hear the prince's voice coming around the corner, and you walk like a couple extra steps faster. Like, let me just pick up my pace like 15%.
Yeah, just like okay, safe.
Yep. Get out the door so he doesn't see you. Hop up on Karok and start looking for the others or whatever it is that you're doing. But with that, why don't we end the session? So I got to go take a shower and go get ready for work. I got to go. Good news is my schedule for the next, like, say, till January 1st is approved. So I'll be releasing my stream schedule, which has to be wonky for the next 5-ish weeks or so. I'll be releasing that tomorrow, I believe. I'll be releasing it for everybody to have. But otherwise, anybody want to say anything before we go? I believe the only big one here is Tesh. Tesh, any
No.
changes to your schedule? Anything exciting you're working on?
Things are just a bit up in the air at the moment, so nothing to announce at the moment.
Cool, perfect. I actually wouldn't mind doing a voice chat after stream, Joey, but once again, expect me at like 11:30, 11:45. So if people want to hop into the Discord, here's the link right here. We can totally do a group chat. And because it's a group chat, that doesn't mean just Joey asking questions. That means other people are able to engage as well. So, but definitely so we can talk about some of the stuff that happened here. Maybe some of the PCs will join. Maybe they'll be a little busy. It's very late for Jake and Tesh. So, all right. Thank you guys very much. Have yourselves a great day. I will see you tonight over on Lost Initiative. And I will tell you already right off the bat without even release, next week there is no Lost Initiative at nighttime. Some of the PCs have already talked about they're going to be traveling to family. And my wife is actually, I was going to stream anyways, but my wife has asked me several times not to, so I could do my prep work for Thanksgiving because I do all the cooking. So she asked me to do the prep work that night, and I was like, no, I'll just do it before the stream, after the stream, stuff like that. She's like, no. Take the night off. And I told her no, but since the other PCs have also requested the night off, I could totally pretend like it was my idea and I'm a superhero. Okay. Thank you guys very much. I will catch y'all tonight. And where's the raid button? I want to raid. There's nobody to raid. Nobody I follow.
There's nobody to raid.
All
Oh
right.
my god.
Sorry, no Czechoslovakians for you guys. Bye. Wait, hold on. It's now called the Czech Republic, not Czechoslovakia. Do we still call the people Czechoslovakians? Or do we call them Czech Republicans? Like, what is the correct term? We just call them Czech? Like, I genuinely want to know the right term. That way I'm not calling them the wrong thing. People from the Czech Republic refer to the Czechs. Okay, so you just call them Czech. All right, cool. So masculine is Czech, singular is Czeka, or just the Czechs. Okay, cool. Awesome. Cool. So no Czech streamers. There you go. I just didn't want to say the wrong thing. All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. Bye.